Hollywood Steven.
Hey!
You just heard your new theme song by Kool and the Gang.
Kool and the Gang wrote it for me.
Yeah, it's just for
in
you.
the 70s. They knew I was coming.
They knew about it. They heard the portents.
Yeah.
They saw the omens.
It's true.
They did. I know that they did.
That's true. My mom told me it was real weird. Kool and the Gang showed up at my birth.
Wow.
Brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
And the funk.
And the funk.
Obviously.
Yeah, of course they brought the funk.
Welcome, dead and lovely listeners, to the funkiest horror movie review podcast in all the known multiverse and beyond. It's Dead and Lovely here with the host with the most. Why, it's me, you good buddy, Uncle Bren.
Uncle Bren.
Uncle Bren.
And it's me, Hollywood Steven.
Oh, Hollywood Steve.
Woo!
Just beckoning from the Hollywood Hills, now representing the Dollywood Hills of East Tennessee.
Dollywood Hills.
How you been doing, man?
I've been all right. It's been raining a lot in East Tennessee.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you what though. Listen here.
Tell me what though.
People be talking about how much it's been raining this winter in Tennessee. Listen, it ain't rained but 2 times though.
That's true. It just didn't stop.
Once for 45 days and once for 35 days.
That's true.
That's all it's rained is just twice.
Take that, climate change.
Yeah, it has been the rainiest, wettest, most ridiculous winter in Tennessee history. I mean, it's the kind of thing where if it was cold enough, this would be the most brutal, unending permafrost ice storm.
It would be amazing.
It would be the worst. You kidding? Dude, it would be fucking awful.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
I'd be losing my mind. But even as it is, it's like we had sunshine today, and that
it
was
was nice
oh my
and warm.
God, the sun is out.
Yeah. I walked
crazy.
out. I'm wearing shorts right now.
I noticed that. You're a short
Ill-advised.
man.
It was a bit too cold.
It's a little cold out there. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little cold out there to be wearing a short, man.
Yeah, but it was warm today, so I was like, fuck it, shorts.
So you've been having a pretty good week?
Yeah, man. I've been watching a lot and just really absorbing some interesting stuff, I'll tell you.
I enjoy that.
And we'll get on to what some of that is here in a little bit.
I've had myself really it's been about a week of Mondays.
Is it?
You know what I mean? It's been about a week of Mondays. On our last episode, I talked about how we just experienced the loss of my wife's grandfather, which, as I said, definitely sucks, but, you know, I mean, hell, guy had a really fucking good ride.
Yeah.
But, you know, the whole week was definitely filled with time as a family, plus all the receiving of friends and funeral and and all that kind of stuff.
All that stuff.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, man, that receiving of friends, which if you guys listening to this might not be familiar with this is where, I don't know, maybe this is just a morbid Southern thing, but they have the casket open and the body of the person, and basically that person's loved ones stand around and all their friends come up and say they're sorry and stuff. I think it's extremely morbid and strange.
It is. But it's a Southern thing, I think. But I mean, I believe it comes from traditions of wakes.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you would also get loaded while you did that.
Which definitely
is way more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, they had G.G. Allen had a wake. People were pouring whiskey all over his dead body, and a woman.
And I'm sure
I
much
believe
worse.
I read that a woman got up on him and simulated sex.
That sounds about
on his corpse. So that's fun.
He would have liked it.
Did any of that
way.
happen?
None. Zero.
Wow, that's a shame.
Shocker, right? I'll tell you what, though, man. Like, it lasted about 4.5 hours. Like, there was a line around the fucking building.
Wow.
Of people wanting to pay their respects to
That's
old
crazy.
Doyle. It was crazy. I've never seen a receiving a friends last that long. It was pretty amazing to see, you know, overall. Pretty cool to see how many people that guy affected in their lives and so on.
Yeah, that's really cool.
The next day we had the burial, which was out in Mohawk, Tennessee, which is about an hour from here.
Tennessee,
out towards Greene County.
Whoa, okay.
Way out in the fucking country.
All right, yeah.
I woke up that morning feeling as though I should stay in bed. You know, I just woke up feeling like really bad, but I was like, you know what? I need to pull it together. I need to keep my shit real for the family. Everybody, this is a time of mourning and loss. Just pull yourself together, Eller. And so we drove all the way out there, and I'm still just feeling fucking terrible. It's early in the morning and stuff. And after the burial, there's like a church across the street from the cemetery, and they like made everybody like a big lunch and stuff. Mm-hmm. So everybody kind of piles into the church, and it's like, well, go in there and get you something to eat. And I'm like, I think I'm about to throw up right now.
Yeah.
And I engaged in actually one of my ultimate fears.
You did it?
Which is throwing up at a place that's not home. Like being out somewhere.
And throwing up? Yeah.
I did it.
I've been there.
I fucking puked in a church.
I mean...
Pretty metal.
I was going to say, that's pretty fucking metal.
Yeah. Dude, it's one of those things that like... Anytime, I don't know, it's like if you're at home and you start feeling bad and you start feeling sick, there's just kind of a certain like safety net that you have where you're like, well, if I need to, I'll just run to the bathroom.
And if I puke everywhere, I'll clean it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody will know about it.
Yeah. But anytime I've ever been out in public somewhere, especially if it's at, let's just say a high priority event.
Right.
Even if it's just like a fancy dinner or something like that. And you start feeling bad for whatever reason. Like to me, there is nothing more, vulnerable and humiliating than being like, hi, I went to your thing and I got uncontrollably ill.
Yeah.
That's like seriously a phobia of mine. And I know that that's totally irrational because
it is. Nobody would.
You can't control that.
Right.
Who cares?
And nobody would be like, you remember that asshole who puked at the funeral?
That guy that had the flu? Fuck that guy.
What a shithead.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I don't know why it's an irrational fear of mine.
Yeah.
But it is. And I did it.
And you did it.
Yeah.
Well, you've confronted the fear now.
I've done it.
Did anything bad happen?
No, not really. Honestly, circumstances couldn't have been a lot better. Because actually, going into the restroom at this church, I was like, oh shit, because there weren't doors on the stalls.
Right.
It was a little tiny men's room. There were no doors on the stalls. Stalls were just open. And I'm like, I'm going to run in here and start ralphing. And I'm going to be puking between some dude's legs who's sitting on the commode, But the whole time I was in there,
on his dick.
Yeah, now that's fucking metal.
That's metal, especially if it's like the preacher.
Yeah, but like just at the time where I happened to be starting to get sick, there happened to be nobody in there the entire time.
Wow,
I made it. I played it cool. I came out of there and I was just like, well, all right, guys, how's everybody doing? Kept it real all the way until we got home. And then I proceeded to get worse and worse. I had the most sudden onset. I don't know if it was like maybe the type B flu.
Sure.
Perhaps.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, because
flu type B.
Yeah, there's type A, B, and C. And like the symptoms of type B were that it hits you like really fucking fast. And it did. I mean, the whole thing onset within a couple hours. It was insane.
It was like, fuck you.
Yeah, you have the flu. And
but, I mean, think about this. It made you confront your fear of puking in public.
It did.
And now you can just go puke in a church anytime you want.
No big deal.
Yeah.
Not that big of a deal.
Show up at a funeral. Maybe not even a funeral of somebody you know.
Yeah.
Just, hey, just going to pop
into
the bathroom.
Wasn't so bad. Moving on,
Yeah.
I proceeded to get sick the rest of the day and just basically spend the next like 3 days in bed. Like seriously, just in bed, sleeping it off. Listening to podcasts or just music or whatever, just drifting in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
Not eating. It was awful. It
sounds horrendous.
It was. I don't recommend it. You don't want no part of this shit, do we?
Okay.
You don't want no part of this shit.
Should we stop kissing?
I'm good now. No, we're fine now. Ooh, yeah. Now,
sweet.
A couple of days ago, that would have been a no-go
A lot of people
zone.
don't know, but in between every single word, we're kissing.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Yeah. I have to edit them all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, most
you should hear before the edit.
So. Oh, it's like an ASMR fucking podcast.
Hey, maybe we should release that. ASMR, that gets a lot of hits.
Yeah. Steve, I'd like to raise a toast to our dearly departed homies that have left us here on this somewhat cool earth.
Yeah.
I'd like to raise one from the private estates of the notorious RDM, Roger Dean Miller. He gifted us with these Stardust to Stardust Imperial IPA from North High Brewing Co.
Yeah,
where are they from?
He really was talking this up.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. He's always bringing us those Ohio brews, trying to let us know. And RDM has said, and I agree with him, that we need to make a video where RDM takes us to Cleveland and we drink beer.
Agree.
I would love that.
Very on board with that. That sounds great to me because
especially like platform.
Oh yeah, the beers that we've had,
like seriously, every platform. It's like Lagunitas.
Yeah,
every
all
single
of them
platform beer is good.
I'm excited about this one. Roger was hyping this one up a lot. It's an 8.8% ABV.
Stardust, a Stardust Imperial IPA, and the Stardust is the Star Wars font.
Yeah.
And the can is completely black with stars, but the font is all C-3PO color, sort of copper.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it. I poured it into a mason jar, and it is a nice, dusky, cloudy, very hazy orange color, which is one of my favorite IPAs. Is that awesome?
Yeah.
Some of my favorite colors for an IPA, so I'm excited to try this.
Wow. Hold up.
That's hooking you up yet good? It smells fantastic. Like I can smell it from inches away from my face.
Yeah, that's good. This is...
oh, holy shit. That is killer.
Yeah, this is more... I think this has just one sort of single strong flavor at first, but then like...
Ooh, that's good.
It's also real creamy and kind of...
Yeah.
Orangey. But after that second drink, man, it really has a lot of flavor to it.
That is incredibly smooth, especially for 8.8. You know what? It reminds me a lot of some of the stuff we get from Pretentious.
That's true.
Like, if I was blindfolded and somebody said this came from Pretentious here in Knoxville, I would actually believe them.
Yeah, I'd believe that, for sure.
It kind of tastes like some of the trendy series stuff a little bit.
That's what I was thinking, the trendy AF.
Dude, that is awesome.
Yeah,
and again, like I've said before, a lot of times with the Imperials, you get such a high alcohol and sugar content that you lose the hops and the funkiness and stuff.
That funk's still there.
Oh, that's what I like. Is like whenever you can get all those contents of sugar and alcohol high, but it still is hoppy and funky and all that. Damn. Dude, this is awesome. This is one of my favorite IPAs that we've ever had on the show.
Yeah, it's great.
Holy shit, that's good, man. Well, Steve, in between all this death and sickness and illness, what have you been watching? You been watching anything good?
I have, and I got, actually, this reminded me of something that I wanted to ask you about, and we'll get to it in a second.
All right, then.
But I watched Russian Doll this week.
So, I don't know anything about it, but Kate just showed me a preview for it, and it looks kind of like Happy Death Day to me or something.
Well, Groundhog Day would be, I think, a more apt comparison.
Edge of Tomorrow.
But yeah, kind of Happy Death Day-ish. But that's just kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's also kind of a detective show.
Sell me on it. Tell me why I ought to watch it and what it might remind me of.
Well, you should watch it because it's Natasha Lyonne playing
She's awesome.
herself.
Okay.
Basically. Which is if Peter Falk were 1970s 80-year-old Jewish woman.
Now that is hard to imagine.
And yeah, basically she keeps reliving. Well, if she dies, she comes back in her world and basically has to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
But spoiler, by the end of the season, she doesn't. But,
I figured, yeah.
It is... I don't want to say too much about it. I just want...
I
really think that once you start watching it, you'll be addicted, like, immediately. I watched the first episode and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm watching all of this tonight.
Awesome.
It's 8 episodes, so it's like, I think they're about 20-something minutes. So it's about 4 hours of watching. And I was just immediately immersed. Really interesting. It really, like, it does that thing where you replay scenes over and over and seeing it from a different perspective.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
What else is going on, which slowly reveals this sort of backstory.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
That sounds dope. From the previews, like the visual style and stuff looked really cool as well.
It's awesome. It looks great. Natasha Lyonne is so awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's awesome.
She's awesome in everything, but she's super great in this.
Cool.
Sure.
I'll definitely check it out, man.
Yep.
What else you seen?
I watched Tombstone.
Yes, dude.
No reason.
Are you my Huckleberry?
I am. I'm your Huckleberry.
Oh, it's good to know. I love that fucking movie so much.
And you know what? Now, like, the older I get, the more I don't care that Westerns can get real long.
Yeah.
And Tombstone actually is only like 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah. It's a hearty movie.
Yeah, it used to seem longer to me as a child, but now as an adult, I'm like, no. Like, all of this makes sense. All of this is necessary.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, I want to say last time we talked about it, you were like, yeah, it's like 20 minutes too long.
Yeah,
or something
I don't
like that.
think so now. Now I think
it settles in good.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, it is kind of long. And you could probably, I'll put it this way, you could probably trim it down, but I don't know if it would make it better.
No, I don't think it would.
There's a lot of movies where it's like, yeah, it's longer, but it's not better.
They jam a ton of story into that 2 hours and 10 minutes.
And all the characters are so memorable.
And Val Kilmer is amazing. Dude, and Kurt Russell. Sam Elliott, and Bill Paxton.
And Billy Bob Thornton getting the shit kicked out of him, just getting treated like shit.
There's so many people in that movie. It's ridiculous.
It's like playing cards with my brother's kids. God, dude. Me and Andy would quote that movie fucking constantly, dude.
Well, bye.
Skin that smoke wagon. See what happens.
Yeah, I really love Curly Bill. That guy, I can't remember the actor's name, but he does so good. Like, he inhabits that character.
I'll put it to you this way. Like, me and Wood quote that thing so much that there's a song on his new record that we just finished called Smoke Wagon.
Smoke Wagon.
And it's specifically because that line where he says, skin that smoke wagon. See what happens.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
Stand there and bleed. Dude, it's just such a fucking badass movie.
It's so awesome.
Oh, in fact, it might be Val Kilmer's best thing he's ever done.
Yeah.
It probably is.
Yeah.
Probably
I
is
think
the best
so.
thing he ever did.
He's really good in Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I love that movie.
He was Jim Morrison. Like, he
was phenomenal.
When I think of Jim Morrison, that's him. Though Jim Morrison's a little tiresome. So I don't love the character as much as I love him in Tombstone.
I don't love it as much as I love this beer.
It's amazing.
Good God.
It's so
I just had another sip.
Each drink is just better than the last.
It is so fucking good. Jeez. I wish I had a lifetime supply of that. It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tombstone is a 10, dude.
Yeah,
my favorite
awesome.
Western. Of course, I'm not like a gigantic Western fan per se, but that's my favorite one without a doubt. So good, man.
I don't know if it's my favorite. It's definitely in the top 3, I would say. Yeah. But yeah, I really, I don't know what it was. It was just on Hulu, and I was like, well, I'm watching that right now, I guess.
So the Oscars were last night. Did you watch the Oscars?
No. I don't care about award shows.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
It seems like we should, but
people get all riled up about controversy about it, and it's like, you know that they do that so that you'll talk about it all year and get pissed about it and then be like, let's see what they do this year.
Maybe this year they get it right, huh?
Yeah. No, they won't. They won't get it right. They'll intentionally get something wrong so that next time you come back. Like, there's no interest in it unless there's controversy.
Yeah, it's one of those things.
Because it's just an award show.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like, okay, there's awards that are given for things that are quantifiable.
Yeah.
Like the Olympics. This guy jumped the farthest.
But even in the Olympics, you have stuff like gymnastics, which has some technical scoring to it, but still a lot of it
can be objective. Yeah. But then you're talking about movie. You're talking about art. It's like imagine if we got together every year and voted on the best
Did you
color.
know in the first few Olympics in the modern era that art and poetry and stuff were like included as part of
No shit.
Yeah. Because the original Olympic ceremonies would include those things.
Really?
Yeah, so there were artists that had Olympic medals.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
I did not know
It's
that.
weird. Yeah.
But it's like getting together to say what is objectively the most non-objective best.
It's ridiculous.
It's just kind of dumb when you really get down to it. And it's like, what stake do you have in it at all? Just as a person who works a job and walks the streets to be like, my favorite movie won. I guess I win too. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
What's it fucking matter?
I do know that Black Panther won 3 awards, including costume design, which I think they definitely deserve.
You know
costume
what?
Design for
watched
sure.
Black Panther for the first time since theaters the other night.
Did you realize that it's awesome?
It's fucking awesome.
It is awesome.
Like,
and when people say that it's not that great, I always have to question their motives because I'm like, I've seen the movie. I've seen the movie 3 times now.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
It's
I think
really
it's a
great.
really good movie.
It really is. And I liked it more this time than I did whenever I saw it in theaters, actually.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know if maybe it was just one of those things where I wasn't in the mood to watch a movie the first time I saw it. I don't know.
Did you watch it after we watched Tales from the Hood? maybe you learned your lesson.
I might
from
have.
Tales from
You
the
might
Hood.
be right. It might be like that.
Because Black Panther has the social message that I don't think any other Marvel movie really ever had.
Not at all. No.
I mean, like there's always like the message of like, is might right, and do they owe any sort of fealty to the government? I mean, that's what Civil War was completely about.
Right,
but those messages are kind of small in comparison.
Yeah.
And anti-war, definitely. I mean, the first Iron Man is very anti arms and stuff.
Yeah. So it's cool to see that Black Panther won some stuff. You know, I'll be a total devil's advocate here and say it's not as good as like Iron Man.
That first Iron Man's really good.
It's fucking awesome. But that didn't get nominated for anything because there was like no credibility for comic book movies back then.
Still isn't. I mean, like, I would say that Black Panther got in there because of the social message and because the Oscars wanted to be seen as embracing black film.
Well, and thank fucking God, finally Spike Lee won something.
Exactly.
I didn't know this, that in the entire time that we've been alive, it's like Spike Lee has been one of those luminary, mega influential filmmakers and social commentators and public figures. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea that guy had never won a fucking Oscar.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like, oh, he's a black guy that makes movies. Good for him. It's like, no, he makes really fucking great movies.
Yeah.
He's made a lot of stuff that is really amazing. And I had no clue that he had just been completely snubbed for any kind of critical attention. That blows my mind. So good for him. He finally won. I think it was Best Adapted Screenplay for Black Klansman, I think.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
I don't know why it took so long, but cool.
That happens a lot because, like, again, they want to be controversial. So DiCaprio gets nominated like a million times before he finally wins for The Revenant. Like,
yeah.
And also, like, watch Adam Ruins Everything is like an amazing show. It's like the best replacement for Mythbusters you're gonna get.
Okay. I've seen a few of them. Yeah, I watched this thing about like circumcision and a few other things that were pretty awesome.
They're very awesome. And he has an entire episode is dedicated to the Academy Awards.
Okay, cool.
Or Hollywood. And there's like a whole segment on the Academy Awards, and it's like people have said vocally, yeah, you pay for an Oscar. Like you send gifts to the voters, you throw them big parties and stuff. Like, I think it was Denzel Washington said in his acceptance speech for his first Academy Award, like something about like, we paid for this one. Like,
shit.
Like,
ugh.
That it's not about finding out who's the best.
Right.
It's about the show getting its controversy, the show being seen as positive, so they have to do like the social justice type of things, as well as they have to appease conservatives with, picking bullshit. Like, didn't what's that Clint Eastwood movie with the fake baby and Brad Cooper? Bradley Cooper, American Sniper.
Oh, I never saw that.
I heard
that
won
was just
awards.
a propaganda movie.
It is.
I never saw it.
That won awards for the conservatives. It was like,
yeah. We love this stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they just try to appease enough people and get enough people to watch. It's not about who's best. It's about what's best for the Academy Awards.
Wow.
And it's fuck that shit.
No shit, man.
Not worth watching.
And
or arguing about it. It's weird when people argue about it.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, ultimately, as much as I know that all of these awards and acclaims and stuff like that are just 100% bullshit, I still can't help but be like, you know what? If I was Toni Collette and I had just worked my fucking ass off on Hereditary and delivered one of the greatest performances of all time and not even get a nod,
not even get recognized
for anything, I would be pissed.
Yeah.
Because it's like, that is the standard. The standard is getting recognized by the Oscars and getting that pat on the back, even though it's bullshit. But it's like, dude, the fact that Hereditary didn't get any attention is just,
it's ridiculous.
It's all the proof that you need.
Yeah.
That this is all horseshit, dude.
At the very least for art direction or something, with all the miniatures and stuff. Like,
there's so much you could choose from, dude.
Yeah.
There's so much. But it's like we said before, it's just insane that horror is such a valid genre with such a gigantic, extremely hardcore following that still there's not a best horror category.
Yeah, comedy doesn't get any appreciation either. I mean, whenever
at least it has a category, horror doesn't even have a fucking category.
That's true, but it's always won by something that's not really funny.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's like people watch it and they're like, well, it's not technically a tragedy or an action movie or a horror. I guess this is comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks nice.
Well, fucking Jethro Tull beat Metallica for that fucking Grammy. It's just that. It's just that all over again.
Jethro Tull known for their heavy metal.
Yeah, exactly, man. Yeah, so I don't know. I wish that Hereditary would have won everything because that was definitely my favorite movie of last year.
You know who won an Academy Award before Spike Lee?
Huh?
666 Mafia. Oh, wait, was it 666 Mafia or Bone?
3 6 Mafia is definitely
3 6 Mafia for Hustle and Flow.
Yeah.
They won an Academy Award before Spike Lee.
That's right.
That's crazy.
That's right. What the fuck? 3 6 Mafia. God, dude, that's crazy. Well, in between all this stuff and being sick and busy with all the funeral stuff, I've not really had a lot of time to watch stuff. We've still been watching through Game of Thrones. We're on season 2 right now.
Awesome.
And it is just so fucking awesome, dude. It's so awesome. I forgot how much killer shit happens in those first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The first 2 seasons of that show are pure
Khal Drogo
dynamite.
doesn't make it out of the first season.
Yeah.
But he's so memorable.
Yeah. In just a few episodes, which, he was only a minor part of all of them.
Yeah. When he cuts out that dude's tongue.
Oh. Dude. Man, whenever he pours that molten gold on dude's
head. A crown
head,
for a king.
Holy shit. But, it's like the whole time before he does it, he's like looking at Khaleesi like, I'm going to kill your brother, okay?
This is about to happen.
Yeah, and they're not talking, but you can tell.
She's like, all right.
She's like, yeah, fuck it.
Yeah,
go
fuck
for
that
it.
guy.
Oh my God. That's like the most satisfying kill of any movie probably ever.
It is. It's so great.
It's so good, man.
I can't think of anything like the only thing similar to it would be that kill in the one X-Men movie where Wolverine shoved the adamantium into, I think it was supposed to be Lady Deathstrike or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then she just filled up with adamantium.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool,
that's
but
pretty neat.
Not nearly as cool as pouring molten gold on someone's head.
Well, because he can't spill blood.
Yeah.
Oh,
so fucking
he's still
cool.
abiding by his code. God, it's so good, man. But yeah, this first couple of seasons of Game of Thrones have just been fucking amazing. I'm really enjoying rewatching them all. I know that, whenever we hit season 4 or so, I'm gonna be like, okay, now begins the kind of trudge of just Khaleesi's gonna be in these slave cities, just kind of farting around for a while, and you know what I mean. I
don't want Daenerys to take the throne.
Yeah.
I mean, her argument for it is I deserve it.
Yeah, it's true.
She deserves it because her father was. Yeah,
right.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I hope Tyrion gets the throne. Though he's a spoiled little rich boy too.
Yeah.
But he was treated like shit. He's obviously the smartest of the Lannisters, though none of them are very dumb.
No, not at all. Well, I forgot, too, that here in Season 2, we get all those awesome scenes at Harrenhal with Arya and fucking Lannister.
Cersei? Or
no, the Patriarch.
Oh, Tywin. Yeah. She and Tywin. That's so great.
Where she's like his servant girl.
Yeah.
But he doesn't know who she is, but she knows who he is and stuff. That kind of cat and mouse they have.
That's real fun.
Oh, man,
there's
so
a
good.
theory that he does know who she is.
And
he lets it play out.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of stuff that he does just to kind of test her and see what she do. Like ask her, when he catches that she can read, and stuff like that. He knows she's lying.
he knows she's lying, but he probably would have seen her at some point, but she's a young girl and she's playing as she's able to pull off convincingly for some that she's a boy.
Yeah.
So maybe he's thinking man, she looks familiar.
Right.
But I can't place it.
Right. I've really been enjoying it, man. It's been
awesome.
It's been a blast. Really been enjoying this beer. I'm
great.
Halfway through and I'm already getting sad about running out eventually. Oh my God, that stuff is amazing. Thank you so much, Roger.
All right.
Now, Steve, I watched. Okay, you got one thing.
I got something. Okay, so I watched The Force Awakens.
Okay, yeah.
Because I really my mind was having trouble with John Boyega in Attack the Block and John Boyega in Star Wars.
They seem like two completely different people.
Yeah, because he's a great actor. I had to watch The Force Awakens again to be like, is he Moses in Force Awakens ever? Nope.
Right.
He's a completely different character.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. He did a great job.
And he just seems so much, I don't know, more mature and wholesome and all kinds of stuff.
But it's only like a couple years in between.
I was going to say, yeah. Like it's not like fucking a decade
later.
He's
19 in, maybe 18 when they were filmed it, but 19 around this time. So
of Attack the Block?
Attack the Block.
Okay, yeah. Wow. But he's playing 15.
Yeah. He's real good. He did a good job. Anyway, so this made me, and I had already been thinking about this, but this made me think I want to rewatch Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star War. Find out about it.
Now, if you're going to rewatch Star Wars, you got to get creative.
Okay.
Because there's no reason why you would sit down and watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh, you mean like normies do?
There's no reason to do that.
Okay, all right.
Because that's not. There's no story to that.
All right.
So there's this order called the Ernst Richter order.
Okay, I've heard of this, but I don't know what it is.
Okay,
so what's the logic here?
I have done this before. The logic of the Ernst Richter order is that the story is about a father and son. Okay. And so a good movie starts in the middle of the action. The middle of the action of this father-son story is Luke is alive and he learns about the Force.
Right.
So you start with A New Hope.
With episode 4.
Yeah, episode 4. And then you go on to Empire Strikes Back. That continues the story you're already watching.
You were already there, okay. And then you're like, let's peel it back.
Yeah, Empire Strikes Back ends with the reveal that Darth Vader is his dad.
Now let's find out about that motherfucker.
Darth Vader? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Now, there's a variation on the Ernst Richter order called the Machete order where you just take out Phantom Menace because it really doesn't add anything to the story of the father and son thing.
Okay.
But the Ernst Richter order includes it. So you go back and you watch 1, 2, 3.
So you've done 4, 5, 1, 2, 3.
You go 4, 5, 1, 2, 3.
It's like a long flashback.
Yeah. And then you come back to 6. Now, I've done this. And when I did it, it did make the prequels better. It made them make more sense.
Okay.
Because you then see that the stuff that Darth Vader does in the original trilogy, he is very whiny and he impulsive. Okay. He doesn't make good choices.
Kind of like Anakin.
Yeah. So when you see him as Anakin and then you come back to Return of the Jedi and you see the way he acts, he's acting like Anakin. Like he's still this impulsive, impetuous, fighting against his master character. He hasn't changed at all. The progress of him is just that he's become evil but still pulled back to the light side of the Force.
Lost some limbs.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So, I've already done that though, Ben.
So what are you gonna do now?
So, I gotta figure this out. I'm gonna do it in timeline order, Ben, but this could take months because the timeline includes the cartoon Clone Wars.
Okay, which is I've never watched, but I've heard good things about.
6 seasons long.
Wow.
It also includes Solo.
Okay, that would fit somewhere in there.
And Rogue One. It also includes Star Wars Rebels, which is a cartoon.
Okay.
And Star Wars Resistance, which is a cartoon.
Are you going to play the video games too?
Well, see, those aren't canon anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
This is the only reason why I'm thinking of embarking on this, and I want some feedback from our listeners who have seen the cartoons on whether or not the cartoons actually add to the story of the movies.
I've heard that they're cool.
I have heard that they're cool.
But do they add to the movies?
Do they? Yeah. I know that Clone Wars actually occurs between episode 2 and 3.
Okay.
So the 6 seasons of that show make the jarring move from 2 to 3 make more sense, I guess.
Okay.
But I don't know.
That's cool.
So if anybody has seen these shows, let me know if I need to watch them. And I'm just going to do it. I'm going to watch the timeline, and then 9 comes out in December. So hopefully I can time it up where I sort of end it there. And
that sounds awesome.
I'm interested in everybody's... Because, like, if I can skip... like some of Clone Wars or something.
Yeah.
Because it's like, seriously,
that's
like
hours and hours and hours of your life.
Yeah, like 12 to 15 episodes a season. Like, oh gosh,
that's a lot of shit to watch.
And I just want to watch Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you get into it and find you really like it. I don't know.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's an admirable goal.
Give me your thoughts, guys.
Let us know on the Facebook page, or hit us up.
Let me know anywhere.
An invite to the Discord that we have now.
If you want an invite, first off, it's already up on the Facebook group. You can just search Discord and it'll pop it up.
Yeah.
But you can email us at deadandlovelypod@gmail.com. I'll send you the link, or you can hit us up on Instagram. Anywhere.
Yeah.
Just let me know if I can skip any of this, or if I shouldn't. Maybe I should watch it all. Maybe I need to see everything.
Let's find out.
Let us find out.
And you know what? While we're doing our usual barrage of announcements, I usually wait till the end of the show to say this. Please do go and rate and review the show on iTunes.
And review on iTunes.
Please do. It really helps us out a lot. I put out a little request on Instagram last week, and we garnered a handful of great reviews on there. I really appreciate that. We're over 100 now, which is fantastic. But the more the merrier. It helps us show up in those searches and top 10 lists and stuff like that. So please do rate and review on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. It really does help us out a ton. Ain't asking for a dime. Please help us out. Now, Steve, this week I also happened to watch a little pellicula called Attack the Block.
Ooh.
I'm going to tell you what. I don't know a lot of people that have seen this movie.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing to me, because I remember when this movie came out, all the hype that I was reading around it. I watched it as soon as I got the chance, which was after it came out on DVD in 2011.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me people haven't seen this movie.
It's got to be one of the more underrated movies that think that I have seen in a really, really, really fucking long time.
Yeah.
It's hard to call it a straight sci-fi movie or a straight horror movie.
Yeah.
It is in that sci-fi horror.
Yeah, it fits into that zone.
Yeah, definitely. It's also got some good comedic elements.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got some black comedy for sure.
But, you know, whenever I was watching this, I just started thinking about, you know what, man, what are some other motherfucking underappreciated, underrated horror movies that I have seen in my time here on the earth? So, Steve, I think before we get into our review portion of the show, how about we just slide, a slippity slide on in to the Preview Palace.
Welcome to the Preview Palace, Coolio.
And talk about some of our most underrated horror flicks of all time. Let's name about a 10 of them. How about that?
That sounds fun to me.
All right, Steve. How about we kick this off
horror
by talking about one of the ones that you selected here? That was the first one that we came up with on our list whenever I suggested this idea.
All right. Well, one that I think gets overlooked a lot.
Yeah.
Because maybe people think of it more of a thriller or something.
Could be, yeah.
Maybe.
There's no like supernatural, there's no monster or anything like that.
It's The Stranger.
Yeah, The Strangers.
Yeah, I think Funny Games gets a lot of the credit that Strangers doesn't.
I completely, 1,000,000% agree. I think The Strangers is a way more engaging, way more sinister, way darker.
Because nobody talks to the camera. Not that funny. I have no problem with Funny Games. I love Funny Games. I like it. But because he talks to the camera, it makes it less frightening and more fun and light.
I'm watching a movie.
Yeah.
But The Strangers, man, the thing about it that is so scary and so effective is this movie happens every day all over the world.
Yep. Somebody gets murdered for no reason.
Yeah. Sometimes people just break into people's house and fuck with them and murder their loved ones and stuff. Yep. For no reason, because you were here.
Yep.
Isn't that a line in the movie? Where they're like, why?
Because you were home.
Because you were home. Yep. Yeah, it's like that. That to me is just that one line, because you were home, is so much scarier than giving me the whole backstory of Son of 100 Maniacs or White Trash, Michael Myers household. Like, how nihilistic and pointless that all is. Just say, we're just doing this because you were home.
Yeah.
That's so much more cruel and sinister and fucked up to me.
I think anybody listening right now who loves The Strangers is thinking, what do you mean it's underrated? Everybody I know loves it.
Yeah.
No. I don't see as much love for The Strangers as I would expect, because the movie is perfectly tense and wonderful. Like, very scary. And a nihilistic, very hard to deal with ending.
Yeah, absolutely so. It's interesting that you have movies like, that are even in that exploitation range, which that might be the closest thing that this is a cousin of.
Yeah, and he's got that sort of Last House on the Left feel a little, but with no rape. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, it's like, it's not a rape revenge thing, but it's like, if you're talking about, I know a lot of horror fans are really huge, supporters and fans of movies like I Spit on Your Grave, and Last House on the Left, and stuff like that, which are just about human suffering and revenge. It's like, this movie doesn't even get to the revenge part.
You don't get the revenge.
It's just
get
about
the human suffering and no consequence.
No, It is so fucking bleak. That's the word that I would use to describe it, is bleak.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's odd to me that more horror fans don't flip out about this one. I think that it's utterly terrifying.
Utterly.
Because again, it could happen.
Yeah. And it does. It does happen. Yeah.
Really, really awesome flick, man. I like that one. Now, next on our list is one that I want to talk about here that was an early-ish episode of our podcast. We've spoken of its virtues and praises many times here on the show. Talking about one old classic from our main man, JC, Jonathan Carpenter. It's a flick that's called In the Mouth of Madness.
Carpenter has a few underrated movies, but I would say In the Mouth of Madness is the most underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if first appearances were to judge, I would say The Thing is the most underrated because people hated it when it came out.
Yeah, but now it's considered a classic.
Yeah, exactly. But The Mouth of Madness has still not hit that status yet.
It's got a cult following, but it's just not. It's not caught on with everyone in the way that it should. It is so ahead of its time and so different.
Yeah, I think that it's just almost. It's one of those ones that you really do got to invest a little bit of work into thinking about what you just saw.
Yeah,
and maybe somebody that's just going in for a, shock and gore and stuff like that. Maybe that's not their cup of tea. But this movie deals, as we talked in depth on our episode about just the futility of, if everything is predestined and predetermined and you're living your life out, as a character in a book or as a human being in God's plan or whatever,
right?
Just how futile it all really is.
What is anything? All the horrible, horrendous things happening in your life, and there's no escape.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just your fate.
Predestined. Yeah, it's just how it is. And it's also got that great Lovecraftian, fucked up feel with
and
the
Sam
monsters.
Neil being awesome.
Yeah, dude. The old man on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
It's one of my favorite
weird.
Images in horror.
Mm-hmm.
So fucking weird.
He won't let me out.
Oh, dude, it's so weird.
It's really good.
And even them driving in the car, and suddenly the car's not on the road anymore.
They're just floating in the clouds. Like, what? And then hit the bridge, and it's daytime. Yeah. That it really messes with time and space in a way that horror movies don't do enough. Because it's so jarring and sets you already in this world where you feel like you don't know exactly what's going to happen at any moment.
And it just seems so helpless. It's just like being a rat in a maze or something.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that movie is fucking brilliant. I
think
that's amazing.
One.
Yeah. Definitely watch it. Listen to our episode on that one too if you want some more deeper insights about that thing.
I remember that was real early. That might be even before episode 10.
I was going to say it might be a single digit.
10,
Yeah. Really love that one. What's next on our list here, Steve?
This is another one we've done.
Yeah.
and it's by Mr. Osgood Perkins.
Oh,
Blackcoat's Daughter.
Yes, which just came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, because like movies like say The Babadook or The Witch, like they get their time with the horror crowd. Everybody's like, yeah, those are great. Like, I mean, aside from getting all the critical praise, they also are appreciated by horror fans.
Yeah.
But you just meet so many people who've never even heard of Blackcoat's Daughter.
Yeah, I have hardly met anybody who's ever seen it. It's like pretty much everybody that I know that has seen it has watched it because I've been like, oh, you need to fucking watch this movie. Yeah. It's like I don't know a lot of people who have just independently watched this movie on their own, and I have no idea why.
Yeah,
I have no idea why. Like, I was entranced from the instant that I started it.
Everything about it is amazing. The acting's amazing. The directing, cinematography, the writing, all amazing. The music in it,
soundtrack is
so great,
awesome. And there's just so many memorable images and sequences that happen throughout the movie.
Yeah,
great performances too.
Yeah,
some really, really, really good stuff.
Man.
Very small cast.
Not a lot of people. It's got that sort of, that Shining feel to it, where you're sort of separated, snowy.
Yeah.
I mean, it has some direct homages to The Shining.
Yeah.
In the costume design, like it's so good, and I don't want to talk too much about it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, it's like I want to talk about it. But yeah.
Go watch it if you haven't seen it. It is so. It deserves to be in the conversation with like Hereditary, The Witch, The Babadook, It Follows. Deserves to be in that conversation of these great independent horror movies that have been coming out in the past few years.
Yeah, I was gonna say easily one of the greatest horror movies that's come out in the past 10 years, if not 20 years. I fucking love it. It's one of those that I'm just constantly in the mood to watch that movie again.
Yeah, I can pull that one up anytime.
You know? It's really, really fucking amazing. All right, Steve, number four on our list right here. Again, another one that we did really early on in the early days of this show. I think one of the most underappreciated horror flicks of all time, and this one's a lot more mainstream than some of the ones we talked about, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, Freddy's Revenge.
It added so much to the lore.
Yeah. Everybody shits on it.
Everybody shits on it.
Because
it's so different.
Yeah.
Like, after, because 3 comes next, and then Dream Warriors defined how every single movie after that was. Like, all of them were copies of Dream Warriors, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. You got unique kids who have unique fears. That's how they're going to die in their dreams. Let's pick them off one by one.
Yeah. And
Freddy gets more cartoonish and quippy.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are these completely different type of movies with, 1 is Wes Craven, absolute master of horror and amazing. Yeah. 1 is so good.
1 is one of my favorites of all time.
Yeah. 2 is made by someone who had no interest basically in the movie.
Yeah.
And written by a man who filled it with gay subtext.
Yep.
And it brings like a refreshing, different, new view of Elm Street that you don't. I think to appreciate Part 2, actually, you have to go through the entire series. You have to see how it stagnates and becomes sort of a repetition, and then go back to 2 and be like, oh, this was so different.
What if they tried something different instead? Yeah, it's like, what if the way that Freddy as a dream demon affected people was to kind of like possess someone and make them sleepwalk? That's a great idea.
It is.
That's really fucking cool.
It's real cool, and it plays out great. And the design of Freddy it's different in that one.
Yeah.
And it looks great. It's the only one, I think. Well, does he have the flesh claw in New Nightmare?
Yeah, he has that New Nightmare. Yeah, where the knives come out of his fingers.
Yeah, so this one has that, and then that one has that.
But everybody busts its balls about like, oh, it breaks all the rules. What fucking rules?
Yeah, how are there rules? It's the second part.
Yeah. Well, and also too, it's like the thing that everybody always gets their shit in a wad about is that he shows up at a pool party and is throwing lawn chairs and stuff. It's like, okay, well, in the first one, he shows up and gets home alone.
Yeah.
And how about in the third one, everybody's fucking favorite, Dream Warriors,
when he shows up again
as a Jason and the Argonaut skeleton in a junkyard and fights a cop. What? How is that not breaking your fucking rules?
Also, he shows up in the clouds as he's puppeteering the kid, and the other kids see him.
Yeah,
he's there. He's outside of the dream world at that point.
Yeah, somebody please explain to me what the Freddy rules are, because they have never ever clearly been set in stone.
Those rules are the repetitiveness of 4 through 7. I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Those rules are just that repetitiveness where they
fall asleep, now they're in trouble. They fall asleep, now they're in trouble.
Yeah, and the trouble is going to be something associated with a line they said earlier, like, I don't like cockroaches.
Exactly. Yeah. Instead of, like you said, playing around and dabbling with, like, well, what are elements of sleep?
Yeah.
Sleepwalking. Cool. Yeah. Maybe he possesses somebody in their sleep. That's awesome. And two, like, the way that this movie plays around with the notion of self-identity, especially when it's concerned like sexual identity and stuff, was way ahead of its time. How denying who you really are could turn you into a monster.
Yeah. Your normal and natural desires become monstrous as you suppress them.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the way that this movie dealt with that was honestly way too early on and way too ambitious. I think for the time period and for the second installment in a series,
and for the audience probably, because
without a doubt.
I mean, there would have been kids in the audience who were like identifying with it for sure.
Yeah,
but most of the kids in the audience would have been like, "Where's the blood? Like, where's the kills?"
Exactly. Yeah.
And it has those. Just they're not as pronounced as maybe in all of the movies that come after.
But it's cool too because we get to see the only non-Scream Queen star, the only male lead in an Elm Street movie. Yeah, but I think that you can only appreciate
slasher,
that.
Really.
Yeah, really.
I mean, he's one of the only.
But I think you can only appreciate that if you'd have had a series of female leads, and then you get to the male lead, and you're like, wait, what is this now?
All right, so now we're coming up with our own order for watching.
Yeah, exactly. It is like that. Yeah. It's like that, man.
Watch all of the movies, then go back and watch 2.
People shit on 2 all the time. I don't understand it. I think it's a really cool, very progressive, interesting flick. Again, listen to our episode on that. We've got a lot of thoughts on that.
That was way back in the day itself.
It was. What do we got for number 5 on this list, Steve?
We didn't choose these because we've covered them. Yeah. We know they're underrated because we've covered them. Yeah. The Burning.
Yeah. One of my all-time favorite camp slashers. Came out the same year as, was it Friday the 13th Part 2? Was that right?
No, it came out in the same year as Part 1, I believe.
Part 1, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so they have some similarities.
Yeah.
That were sort of... It also has similarities to another movie that came out around that time called Madman. And everybody was kind of on the same wavelength around that time, basically, of camp slasher.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Burning. I mean, Tom Savini left. He didn't come back to do... Oh, wait, you're right. It was 2 because Tom Savini did the special effects in 1
instead of doing...
And then came to The Burning instead of doing Part 2.
Yeah, because he was like, Jason's not alive.
Yeah, it makes no sense that Jason has left.
Yeah, that's right.
But then he came back for 4, which we will do soon.
Oh, which is so good.
And is one of my favorites.
It's so good, man. So good. Yeah, The Burning is all about the Cropsey myth about a camp...
A child killer.
Like maybe a diddler. I don't know.
Yeah, he's got something going on. The kids all hate him, obviously. Yeah. And then they try to play a prank.
They maim him.
Which is basically, let's
set him on fire.
Set him on fire.
And he comes back to exact his revenge on them. And it's seriously everything that you want when you think of an 80s camp slasher. It is just brutal kills and boobs and silliness and machismo.
Yeah, a lot of that. Yeah. And Jason Alexander and Fisher Stevens.
Yeah.
So...
What's not to like about that? And Holly Hunter.
Holly Hunter's in
Hunter's in there too. It's great. Awesome soundtrack.
Isn't Holly Hunter in Blackwood's daughter too?
Is she?
Or is that's someone else?
Okay, so she's not. But The Burning is one of those ones that there's problems with it. Obviously, a lot of the female roles and stuff very problematic. There's some very it's
a Weinstein
stuff.
movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's Harvey Weinstein's vision.
Yeah.
honestly, it'll give you some insight into who he is as a dude, honestly. Like, watch it and you'll be like, I see.
Got it.
Anybody out there who's like, I don't get why Weinstein's such a bad guy. I mean, I don't know how you don't get that.
Yeah.
But watch The Burning and think, this came from Harvey Weinstein's brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you know what? Even though it has its problems and stuff, it's just still like...
It's so great.
I think when I was 8, if you asked me to imagine what a camp slasher was like, it would have been The Burning.
Yeah.
Man, it's worth watching for the fucking raft massacre scene alone.
Tom Savini, so great.
Oh my God, dude.
God, he's so great.
But again, it's like I know a ton of horror fans that have seen
Don't know it, yeah.
Yeah, they've seen
I didn't know it
Friday
until like you started talking about it.
Yeah.
And then I watched it leading up to, but we watched it last year for Camp Dead and Lovely, which we're going to do again this year.
I'm already excited.
And then probably never get to do again because we'll be out of camp
Just about out of them. Unless we just do a month of Friday the 13th and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, not enough people know about The Burning. And everyone should watch it.
I tend to agree. Now, coming in at number 6 is one that you selected here for the list, which is one that I have not seen, but it's one that you've mentioned many times here on the show.
Well, it is a Kurt Russell Western.
I like that already.
Called Bone Tomahawk.
I want to see that.
Man, you need to see Bone Tomahawk. You're going to watch Bone Tomahawk, and when you watch it, you'll be like, why did I wait so long to watch this movie?
I think that I will. Dude, it is a brutal... I've heard that it's fucking gory as shit.
It is very gory, and like doesn't waste any time with explaining what these creatures are or why they're like what is happening.
Just tosses you right in.
And it's like, what in the fuck is that?
Somebody has told me that there's like one particular kill in there that's just like unfucking
believably brutal.
Oh man, I can't. I guess I'll probably know it when I see it.
You'll know immediately. You'll be like, if there is one more brutal than this, I'm not sure I'll watch it.
Damn, dude,
it's very brutal.
I guess it probably gets overlooked because it's a Western, right?
Yeah, it's a Western, but like Kurt Russell, like. We're not
talking... Snake Plissken.
He's fucking Snake Plissken. Like, why aren't people more cognizant of this fucking movie? It's so good. It's got Patrick Wilson.
Okay,
who's also amazing and everything. I can't remember some other... There are other people... Oh, what's his name from Lost is in it, right?
Okay.
Well,
Hurley, the guy with the numbers.
I think Matthew Fox is in it. I'm not positive. Hurley might be in there.
Okay.
And then that bird he saw that we never found out why it said his fucking
name. That bird.
Name.
What?
That bird said my name.
I forgot about that.
And then they were like, oh, fuck.
Never
why did we write
that? Why did they write that?
But yeah, man, Bone Tomahawk. Like, you don't have to like Westerns to like it.
Okay,
like,
I was wondering about that.
If you're not a Western person, I would say if you like maybe The Devil's Rejects, and you want to see what it would be like to be on the other side of that.
Okay.
To be the lawman.
Holy shit. That sounds rugged.
Yeah, but the family isn't human and they don't speak English. But they're very brutal.
I like that already, man.
Yeah, I recommend it. Like, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I don't know where it's streaming, but watch it as soon as you can.
Well, I'm going to follow your movie that I've not seen with a movie that you've not seen.
Oh, shit.
I'm going to follow this up with one that I'm going to add to this list called Intruder.
I have not seen this. What is this?
It is a slasher movie that takes place in a grocery store.
Awesome.
And it is a fucking blast. Intruder. I so desperately want to do it on the show sometime. Okay. And I want it to be your first time watching it. Like, I want it to be one of those.
Okay.
Because I just happened to stumble across it, maybe 2 years ago, I think. And it was one of those deals where it was a Saturday afternoon. I had nothing I needed to do, and I was scrolling through like Amazon Prime, and it was like, oh, here's a 80s slasher movie in a grocery store. It says it's got Ted Raimi and Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi's he's an actor in it.
And Bruce Campbell.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, okay, I'm on board. It turns out, like, Sam and Bruce don't show up until literally the last 5 minutes of the movie.
And they're just like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah, they're like two cops that arrive at the scene, and that's it. Ted Raimi is in it a lot, though.
Oh, okay.
And I love a Ted Raimi.
Yeah, Ted Raimi's great.
Dude, it is almost like the most hyper-aware, like seeing in the crystal ball idea of an 80s slasher like ever. It's almost like the 80s slasher thing had started getting going, and somebody was like, you know what, let's do a movie that would be like when they're parodying what's going on right now 20 years from now. Because it's way silly, it's way stupid, way over the top.
Yeah.
It just feels, you know what it feels like? It feels like The Lonely Island made an 80s slasher.
Okay.
Sold.
I want that, by the way.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I want that.
That sounds great.
Like, I just want them to remake Intruder. Like, it would be the most perfect
they're doing
thing.
a movie soon. Like, I think I read that they... Yeah. Awesome. But yeah, I would love it if they did just like a like dumb slasher.
Oh, yeah.
Like, basically Hot Rod meets Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. Dude, you're going to love Intruder.
Okay.
You're going to love
Cool.
it. And I honestly think that, like, the same way, and, you know, I was vying to put The Wraith on this list.
I know you were.
My beloved Wraith.
You love that Wraith.
But, like, Intruder has such charm, and it's just so dumb, and it obviously, like, loves the genre so much. And it plays around with all kinds of, like, really just fun, silly, like, camera angles and camera tricks and stuff like that. Like, you know how, like, whenever you watch The Evil Dead, and there's all these camera angles where you're just like... They were
doing a lot of weird shit.
Yeah, and you're just like, what the fuck were they thinking?
Yeah.
There's a lot of that in Intruder.
Okay.
Where there's...
Does it succeed like it does in Evil Dead, or is it just like, this is weird?
No, absolutely. It really, really did. I mean, maybe not to the caliber of Evil Dead. I don't know, but there's some awesome stuff. There's some shots that are from the perspective of a light bulb.
Oh.
Yeah, and you'll understand it when you see it.
Somebody's thinking on an Argento level.
Yeah, kind of like that.
He's making a pizza.
Oh.
Though he's American, so... I'm making a pizza, walking here in New York.
We're so good with our accents.
Our accents are on par.
Yeah, as we know. Yeah, so Intruder, definitely one of the most underrated 80s slasher flicks.
That's awesome.
Of all time.
Yeah, I actually will hold off on watching it until we do it.
So where are we at now? Number ocho, I think?
Numero ocho.
What do we got coming up next on our list here?
We got another little movie that we've actually covered.
Oh, hey, what do you know? I think pretty much all these are ones we've covered from here on out.
Yeah, that's true.
Rate and review on iTunes.
It's a little movie that also involves Tom Savini.
Oh?
And one Joe Spinell as a maniac.
Maniac.
That sounds like a Mongolian movie.
Yeah,
that is
Maniac.
Probably pretty dope.
Yeah, it's probably pretty good. Yeah, Maniac is one of the most depraved, disgusting, just gross movies I've ever seen.
It is, and that's the thing that interests me about it is I've watched, especially when we did Maniac, I watched a lot of those I watched Driller Killer and stuff, those other exploitation movies that came out around the same time. And Maniac is, in reality, a good movie.
Yeah.
It's gross. It'll make you feel sick.
Yeah.
But really well acted. And you do believe the motivation of the killer. Like, it all comes together instead of just being for silly, like, insane kills.
Or whatever.
Or to just show boobs or whatever. It's got a real, like, demented heart to it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely so. Now, if I was going to sum it up in one word, it would be grimy.
Yeah, grimy.
It's just a grimy movie about
scuzzy is a word I think fits it.
Yeah, dude. It's like when you think about like mid-70s, late 70s New York.
Oh, just
pollution
and trash dirty everywhere. And,
like nothing is clean. Everything's grimy. Everything's scuzzy.
70s New York in the summer probably smelled like...
Oh, dude. Like Paris Hilton.
Smelled like a vomit took a shit
yeah.
on a dead baby.
Yeah.
Like,
just had to be the fucking worst, dude.
Yeah.
And this movie looks like that.
It does. It really does.
And it's seriously it's like the main character is Joe Spinell playing about the most convincing, like, I bet you're a serial killer in real life.
Man, he fucking goes for it.
Yeah.
He's just goes for it.
He's disgusting. He looks like a fucking serial killer. Yep. Extremely, extremely believable. There's so much weird stuff in this movie. Dude, like all the stuff in his apartment, it's like...
Oh, God. And he's like an artist.
Yeah.
That's the thing that's interesting that really brings it home and makes him more, like... You can connect with him in some level, and that's disturbing. Mm-hmm. That's real disturbing.
Oh, yeah. And you also have a little bit of a sympathy factor with him, too. Yeah. But it's not like to that super weepy, like Rob Zombie Halloween, like feel bad for me kind of way. It's I don't know. It really treads a fine line between sympathy and also still being disgusted by what's happening.
It'll remind you, maybe if you haven't seen it, of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, but I think it's more disgusting.
I think it's beyond Henry. And that's the one that I know always gets the acclaim. And don't get me wrong.
It's a great fucking movie.
Yeah.
And
Henry,
Michael Rooker is amazing.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah. And it has some really depraved, grimy stuff in it, too, that just... It makes you feel like taking a shower for sure. Mm-hmm. Maniac makes you feel like getting pressure washed. Like, blow my skin off,
like,
please.
What's the use in ever taking a shower again?
Yeah, exactly.
This will not wash off.
It just makes me want to put on a second layer of sweatpants. You know? It's like, fuck it.
Fuck it.
What's the point? Also has one of the greatest headshots ever.
Yeah. Yeah, Tom Savini shot, like, just shotgun shot in the middle of New York City.
Yeah.
Just food and
stuffed into a fake head.
Shrimp going everywhere.
Yeah. And it was his own head.
So good.
And it was a replica of his own head.
Yeah.
Which is super cool.
Man, Tom Savini is great.
You know, and I'll add a little addendum to that too, that I would add on to this underrated list. Don't Go Into the House.
Oh yeah, Don't Go Into the House. It has an alternate title I can't remember, but Don't Go Into the House is the American title.
Yeah, what is the alternate one? I can't remember.
But yeah, it's on the same level as Maniac,
where it just
for sure.
It just feels like you gave an actual psychopath
the money to make a movie
and a budget, and is like, what would you like to see? And he's like, I don't know, something where I burn people in my house.
Maybe I have a room that I burn people in.
Yeah, maybe it's about that. Yeah, Don't Go to the House is fucking crazy weird.
We should do an exploitation month one month. That would be fun.
Just a grimy month.
Just grime.
Maybe it'll be like Grime March or Grime May. That's it, Grime May.
Well, yeah, it'd have to be May because March we already got figured out.
Yeah,
so Grime May. Grime May.
Oh, dude, yeah. So if you're into grimy exploitation flicks, definitely check out the original Maniac. The remake is good too, but the OG is just way grosser.
The remake actually... it made me just, I don't know, like, I didn't like the way I felt watching the remake.
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing it because it shot POV.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the way that made me, like, watching Maniac's like, oh gosh, this type of person exists. Watching the remake was like, oh god, I'm this type of person.
Yeah, right.
I was just like, I'm uncomfortable. I gotta turn this off.
Yeah. Brutal.
Anyway, yeah, so...
Number 9 on our list. Let's take it back to summer camp here.
Yeah.
And this is one of those ones that, like, I know a lot of horror fans really do like.
Yeah.
So I can't say that it's, like, super hyper underrated.
But it was also covering on how did this get made.
Yeah.
As, like, why would anybody make this movie?
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of people don't get Sleepaway Camp.
Exactly. And I've listened to I listened to a lot of other horror movie podcasts and stuff like that, and it seems like a lot of people just they watch it entirely surface level, and they're like, yo, whatever, that was weird, you know what I mean?
They like the camp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think that there is so much more going on.
That movie had way more. I mean, we're saying it's underrated, and it is. But that movie was successful at the box office. It had under $1 million budget and made a good bit of money.
Sure.
So at the time, people went out to see it, and horror movie audiences still watch it, but I don't think they get that it's not just dudes in crop tops yelling weird insults at each other.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot more going on about sexuality and about, like,
gender identification.
Yeah, like, it's real interesting. I like that movie a lot.
Yeah. I think that there is a very, very, very dark and very bleak kind of undertone to that movie that a lot of people overlook. The ending of it is one of the greatest endings of horror of all time.
It really
Holy
is.
fucking shit.
Oh my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Again, I don't want to spoil it. If you haven't seen it,
if you haven't seen it,
you just found our podcast because you were like, love attack. You were like, bet, bruv. Love attack the block, bro.
Oi, fam, let's listen to this podcast, bruv. We're so good at accents.
Seriously,
So
like,
good.
it's amazing. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, go fucking watch Sleepaway Camp. And if you just like it on a camp level or whatever, that's fine. But like, try to get it.
There's more than meets the eye.
There's a lot more to it, yeah.
And if you've seen it and you're like, what the fuck are they talking about? Listen to our episode about it.
Yeah, listen to our episode. We talk in depth about why we think it's way more interesting than people give it credit for.
Definitely. Number 10 on our list is going to be one of my all-time jams that I watched for the first time 7 or 8 years ago, and it's one that I watch every year. I fucking love this movie so much, and I meet horror fans all the time that have never seen it, and especially like fans of you know, late 70s, 80s horror flicks and stuff like that. Everybody should adore this movie. And once again, kind of like what I was saying about Blackcoat's Daughter, it's like, it seems like everybody that I know that's seen this movie is people that I've told, you need to watch The House of the Devil.
Yeah,
I think that The House of the Devil is one of the most underappreciated horror flicks ever.
We got pre-Lady Bird Greta Gerwig in a very minor role.
Right.
We got Jocelyn Donahue not driving around in a Volvo. I think she's in Volvo commercials. She's in a lot of commercials now.
Is she really?
Yeah. She's in more power to her.
Yeah.
Those things pay. She's in like a few car commercials and then like a Affleck commercial.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but she's great.
I wish she'd be in some horror movies directed by Ty West again.
And me too.
My God.
I wish a lot of that would be true. Ty West would direct another horror movie and that Jocelyn Donahue would be in it.
I would be very, very, very okay with that.
Is so good. House of the Devil is like everything you want in an 80s horror movie, but made in 2009, I think. It looks like a late 70s, early 80s horror movie.
It was filmed on old ass film stock from that time period.
It's great. They did so much to make the costumes, the sets, everything fit the feel of the movie. And also the feel of the movie is Satan. Devil worshippers,
which goes back
pure
to
Satan.
That 80s satanic panic thing that we were all warned about when we were kids. That satanic cults were out there and they were real and they were killing kids and all this stuff. This
flushing
movie,
them down the toilet and taking them to be molested.
Oh no, that's Pizzagate. That's way later.
No, that was also in the Satanic Panic.
Came back for Pizzagate.
Yeah, Pizzagate was like, hey, remember the Satanic Panic? That was cool. Let's do that again.
But Hillary this time.
But Hillary did it this
time. Got it. That makes sense.
It's almost like the original was a dry run by some sort of propaganda force. I don't know.
What do you know, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, House of the Devil it's like everything that you want when you think about an 80s occult, babysitter horror kind of movie. It's got like 40 minutes of the movie that has no dialogue.
Just so much quiet,
it.
Intense.
Yes, dude.
Tense moments. But then the thing is that instead of doing that thing that some movies that just develop tension do, where it's all about the tension, it pays off in like what the fuckery at the end. Just like
shit hits the fan.
Insane.
Yeah.
So great.
And I know, a lot of people criticize this movie for those long stretches of time where it is kind of slow or not a lot of action is happening or whatever. But to me, the great thing is, especially about that, middle 40 minutes of the movie where it's just her in the house, is like, you, the viewer, knows she's in fucking danger.
Yeah, we see stuff she doesn't see.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. The
for
narrative.
instance, when she walks upstairs and she's on one side of a door, and then it lets us see what's on the other side. And I won't spoil it if you haven't seen it, but when you do see it, it's one of the most brutal things I've ever seen portrayed in
shocking.
A movie.
Yeah, and you're like, bitch, get out of there. Get the fuck out of there.
She's all like, I got my Walkman and I'm dancing.
Oh, man, dude. She's just jamming to the knack.
Yeah, so great.
It's great. It's interesting, too, because it's one of those rare movies where it's like, honestly, the narrative is what makes it scary. Like, the narrative and the camera work showing us what she doesn't know makes it actually scary.
Yeah.
Because there's not really a lot of stuff on screen that's happening that's actually spooky.
Yeah, there'd be no reason.
It's like a girl in a house. Like you could just isolate a lot of shots from that movie and be like, whatever, it's a girl in a house.
Right.
Not scary. But knowing what
yeah,
fucking scary.
It's frightening. And just to stay on what apparently I'm calling my theme so far.
Okay.
Ty West directed a Western called In a Valley of Violence that I really enjoyed.
I've heard it's really good.
It has Ethan Hawke, John Travolta, Tyson Farmiga, and Karen Gillan in it.
Tyson Farmiga.
Yeah, I love that Tyson Farmiga, and I love Karen Gillan.
Yeah, no doubt.
That one's a great one. Anyway, yeah, Ty West is a great director. Like, The Innkeepers, I think, is also underrated. Even by people who like House of the Devil, they see The Innkeepers as like... It is a slow burn, but it also... There's a lot more going on in it. It's not as like... quiet, intense.
Yeah.
It's more like funny and some black humor and stuff, and then it gets serious right near the end.
I like it a lot,
but it's still a great movie. Yeah.
The leading chick in that is really fun.
Super fun.
I like her a lot. She's really awesome. Yeah, so that's kind of our list of our first top 10 that we could think of that we think are really hyper underrated. And Steve, I'm gonna add one more to this list that I thought of.
I can't imagine what it is.
As we were just discussing, I thought of one more that I was like, God diggity damn. Why did I not think to add Halloween 3 Season of the Motherfucking Witch to this list?
Must be the season of the witch.
Because it's so good.
8 more days till Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I love it. And yes, there is no Mike Myers in it. There is no Mike Myers in it, but that doesn't make it a bad movie. Watch it as its own story about Halloween.
Just cut the Halloween 3 part off. Assume that it's a movie called Season of the Witch.
Yeah, just go with that.
Yeah, and that it exists in the same universe as Michael Myers. I think that's actually ahead of its time in that respect, where now you can have a director be like acknowledging that, like, oh yeah, Edgar Wright, the Cornetto trilogy, Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead and The World's End,
right?
They all exist in the same universe.
Mm-hmm.
Though, I mean, it would be interesting to be in that universe where 3 people look like Simon Pegg and 3 people look like Nick Frost. But whatever.
Season of the Witch is awesome.
Season of the Witch is great.
It's so fun. Just watch it again. Don't go in expecting Mike Myers slashing some people up.
Yeah, no. Go in expecting
weirdness.
Real weird, like, Celtic conspiracy.
I love it. That's great, man. We'll cover that on the show one day.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we're up to it. We did 2 already.
Oh, yeah. Shit, we did. All right, now, Steve, the subject of our show
is an underrated movie of its own.
That is indeed Attack the Block.
That may have been our longest opening ever.
Yeah? Awesome. I think Home Alone is still
right, yeah, because we were like, fuck it, it's Christmas.
Yeah,
like,
fucking, yeah. It's fun.
Like an hour, like 2 hours.
Yeah, I think it is.
And then like an hour of us talking about Home Alone.
It's a great episode.
Yeah, it is.
Well, so the main subject of our show, well, I say main, a subject of our show.
Yeah, one of the subjects of our show.
It's got to be Attack the Block, which this was the first time that I ever watched this. You suggested this for the show, and I was like, what's that?
Well, it's fucking Attack the Block, man. It is Joe Cornish. Joe Cornish, who co-wrote Adventures of Tintin and Ant-Man with Edgar Wright.
Mm-hmm.
It's his first movie that he directed,
Coming out of the gate, way hot, by the way.
Way hot. Like, I watched a number of interviews with him about it, and like that, he says that like the great sci-fi directors came out real hot.
Wow.
When they hit sci-fi. So like Steven Spielberg, James Cameron. Like, James Cameron did Piranha 2, which some might say has sci-fi elements.
Is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but Terminator was his first sci-fi film. Yeah. And he went fucking at it.
Hyper ambitious.
Yes. And so he decided, like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna try to do the thing I want to do.
Yeah.
And I think he nailed it, man. I think
so
this
too.
movie not only has the perfect action beats and the perfect sci-fi elements, but also the perfect elements of horror, in that those aliens do what the aliens in Alien do. In that they're mysterious looking.
Yeah, you never have a
sure
clear
what you're
idea.
looking at.
Yeah.
But
that's a good point.
you see them a lot more.
You definitely do.
But when you do see them, it's not like all you see is their teeth, really.
Right.
Which is frightening itself. Like,
I know.
why do their teeth glow?
Such an incredibly simple design.
Yeah.
I want to talk about those character designs a little bit. But you know, basically, the plot of the movie is that this takes place in South London?
South London, yeah. Down near Brixton.
Brighton, near the Thames. Always near the Thames, innit?
That's right, isn't
Governor.
it? I'm so far south, I couldn't even hear Big Ben. What time is it? Anyone?
Oh, pardon me.
How many bells?
I just dropped my Newcastle down at the pub. Am I right?
They love that Newcastle.
Yeah. That's how they do. So it takes place down in there, and basically
it takes place on a council estate. And what you should understand, if you're not an Anglophile,
I'm not.
Is that a council estate is a project.
Okay, so it's like a housing project.
It's a housing project.
Okay.
Yeah. And this particular housing project gets alien invaded.
It does indeed.
By these aliens that the female looks like, I don't know, kind of like the snow cave thing in Star Wars, but like tiny.
Kinda. Yeah, but small. Yeah.
And no eyes.
Right.
The males look like gigantic gorilla wolves with glowing blue-green teeth.
Yeah.
And again, no eyes. And they're the blackest black. Like no light reflects off of them. So like just looking at them it's a mystery already.
Yeah, dude. Hyper fucking
and
cool.
some kids who live in the council estate save everyone.
But it gets interesting because it's not just kids. Like, if Steven Spielberg was directing this,
it would just be kids.
Exactly. It would be what you just described.
Yeah, Steven Spielberg, parents in the film have to be absent.
Exactly.
For the adventure to occur.
And the kids have to band together to do this. But this takes place in, like, the real world.
Yeah, where there are also adults.
Yeah, and also too, there are kids that don't really have a lot of parental figures around that are in kind of a gang of. They're a bit of the Odie culture.
Yeah,
there's some street toughs.
Yeah,
in it.
Yeah,
and so basically they're a street gang, and like they mug a lady who turns out lives in the same apartment housing project as they do.
I can only assume it is just the doctor, and she's forgotten who she is, like that one episode with David Tennant.
Yeah, I should guess.
Because she's played by the doctor herself.
Right.
Yeah, they mug this lady, and this is real interesting because, I'm taking this directly from Joe Cornish, but he talks about in one interview about the book Save the Cat, which is a screenwriting book that I'd say is probably one of...
Save the Cat.
Yeah, it's probably one of the top 5 most important screenwriting books. You need to read if you're going to write for the screen.
What that is.
Save the Cat, the idea is that you have to show your character, your protagonist, doing hero business. Okay. So within your first 10 pages of your script, which is first 10 minutes of the movie, you need to show your character doing something altruistic, heroic, brave.
Right, okay.
Like saving the cat. which is a microcosm of what they're going to be doing by the end of the film, which is saving the world or saving the country or whatever.
So in other words, they might be a little bit down in the doldrums.
Sure.
They might be out on the streets, but they're still representing some kind of inherent goodness or moral quality.
They're showing us that we can believe in them.
Okay, gotcha.
This movie subverts that and does the exact opposite.
Yeah.
By showing our protagonist mugging a nice woman who did absolutely nothing to deserve it.
Yeah.
We can see Robin Hood taking money from people and be like, oh, he's still a hero.
Yeah, he's gonna give it to some poor little orphans or something.
He's robbing from the rich to give to the poor. In this case, it's explicitly said after they rob her that she's poor.
Yeah,
she lives in the estate housing with them.
Yeah, she has nothing in her wallet.
Yeah, she's not getting paid well. And so there's nothing to like about them.
Yeah.
They're despicable, these young toughs from the council estate.
Right. And at the start of the movie, because the mugging happens right at the start of the flick, and you're not even sure of are they the main character, or is the chick getting mugged the main character?
Are we going to be watching Sam, or are we watching Moses and the boys?
Yeah, exactly. So you're just like, okay, well, maybe Sam's the main character and something bad's happened to her.
She's talking on the phone as the credits are sort of rolling, and then she walks up and gets mugged.
Mum, I fancy a spot of tea.
And she says those exact words in that exact way.
I know.
Yep.
I have it documented. But yeah, it's like at the first of the movie.
I've landed in a spot of bother. I have to call you back. I have to ring you back.
Oh, bollocks. Oh, bollocks. She says. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, it's like at the first of the movie, you just got these kids being despicable, and then it turns out that Moses is the main dude in the movie.
Yeah, he's the guy we're watching. And after that, the alien drops down as they're mugging her and lands in a car nearby.
Yeah. They try to fucking jack the car. It almost kind of reminded me of that the Tyrone Biggins Red Balls skit. You remember that?
Yeah.
Where Tyrone Biggins, Dave Chappelle, he was the baby crying in the car that was locked, and he goes and busts through the window and then just steals the CD player.
Not to save the baby. Yeah. And that's exactly it. They're not going to help. Not trying to make sure everybody's all right, but they're thinking, oh, I could steal this car now because the windows are open.
There's an alien in here.
There's an alien in there. Yeah. And then even more, and this is interesting to me, is that the alien,
double whammy.
We see it that it's ugly, but if this is E.T., that doesn't mean anything. E.T. is ugly, but we learn that he's loving and we can trust him.
It's kind of fun. Again, if this was a Spielberg movie, these kids, these hardened street toughs would have been
oh, we're friends now.
Oh, he's part of our gang. Yeah. And he would teach them morals and stuff.
With
a backpack
monster on their shoulder, drinking beer or whatever, kind of.
We're the Monster Squad.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, instead they try to kill it and then and
they kick it apart.
They kick it apart.
Yeah.
Much like George Washington would.
That's correct.
Yeah. And it's you don't like them. The sounds that the creature makes as they're killing you, it's
it's very sad.
This is not fun.
Yeah.
So you don't like these people.
And then basically what you end up finding out is that all these other aliens start hitting Earth to try to exact revenge. They basically end up with this female's pheromones all over them.
Yep, and the males are all trying to get to those pheromones.
Yeah.
They can't see. All they can do is smell, and they want to get it.
Which is cool, the whole notion, and let's talk about the creatures and stuff here a little bit too. The notion that the creatures can't see is pretty interesting because the first time that you see one of the big black beast, male ones, you see these two, kind of blue-green, teal, aquamarine colored dots on it, and you're like, oh, those are the eyes. And then the mouth opens up and you realize, oh, those were the canine teeth. So it's never... Because again, like you said, the creatures are absolute black. You can't see any features on them or anything. It's never really stated they don't have eyes. It's not really a thing.
We just never
blind.
See their eyes, and we see that the female doesn't seem to have eyes.
Yeah.
But the exposition isn't exposition in this movie is really good. They
a lot of show you don't tell. Show you don't tell you kind of stuff. for sure.
But yeah, it's real interesting, their design, and the fact that it's practical effects.
That was one of the
with
first
some
things
CG.
That's one of the first things that got me like super on board with this movie.
Yeah.
Is like the first, the very intro scene, which looks like you could call it The Thing or The Predator, where it's like a ship flying by over Earth, dropping a pod down. It's like
very much like other great sci-fi from that.
But other than that, it's like you got the mugging and stuff. There's not really any special effects stuff. But once the alien lands and they pull that thing out, and you're like, wait, that's like a physical object. Like that's a puppet.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
That's a real thing. That looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's when I was like, oh shit, this movie has got me. They're going practical effects. They're going, what would Spielberg do with this? You know?
And he would do it practical back in the day.
And the male aliens, the big black kind of things, I guess they made, I think they said like 2 suits.
Yeah.
Like actual suits for these things.
Those are actual stuntmen in the suits.
Yeah.
No, nobody's looking at a green screen and running. They're being chased by men in these frightening suits.
Crazy.
And saw interviews with the cast. Everybody said like, yeah, we were legit scared of them. Like they're scary when they're coming at you.
And I can't tell you how much I love the fact that they went with the hyper black look.
Yeah.
Like what's the that black
Vanta black.
Vanta black. Yeah, they say is like. Of course, this movie predates that.
Yeah,
but they say it's like
the
a substance.
blackest black.
Yeah, it's like it's so black your brain can't really comprehend.
Yeah, it flattens things. Like
it's like
they
a hole
sprayed
in
it on a
reality.
basketball, and the basketball just looks like a circle.
That's
like
bizarre.
a black circle. Yeah,
I gotta see that.
That's super cool.
I want that on a grit tar.
That'd be awesome.
Sick, dude.
People would be like, "What is that flat space? Where are those notes coming from?
From whence do they emerge?"
Yeah,
but
the fact that they don't have eyes also is a big deal in not being able to empathize with them.
Oh yeah,
there's nothing to look at. It's just a mouth.
Yeah. But it's also one of those things too where it's genius because this wasn't a high budget movie.
No, it was in fact pretty low, about $10.5 million.
Holy shit, that low?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So then it's like you get into the thing where it's like, yeah, if you would have had guys in like gorilla suits or like big fuzzy things, like it almost would have reminded you of like Critters.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's got
hairy
that.
aliens, And
Critters also opens with a spaceship outside of Earth in a pod. Yeah.
So this kind of has shades of that, but it's like by making these creatures this pitch black kind of thing, it's like you give an excuse to hide all your special effects.
Now,
it's fucking brilliant.
All right, as we're talking about it, I want to go into what they are then.
Okay.
Because you said something. You said Black Beast about them.
Yeah.
Which would sound like then people would be like, oh, I see, this is some sort of allegory about how black immigrants are coming into England and causing problems or whatever.
Oh, like literally black aliens.
I mean, they even make the connection later where I think it's Dennis maybe or Jerome says he's blacker than my cousin, like.
Okay.
They sort of make that connection, but here's the interesting thing to me is that normally that would absolutely be true. Normally, alien invasions are directly about fears of immigration and fears of race mixing.
Sure. Yeah. Classically in horror movies.
Yeah. This movie subverts that exact trope by making this a council estate. This is the area where the poor people live, and the majority of the people in our gang are black. There's one white character.
Yeah, and they're lower class.
So this isn't about black people invading them.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they make them flat black, meaning colorless, no light escaping, basically. What this seems to be about to me is it's still in the vein of the immigration fear and the fear of race mixing, but it's actually about gentrification. Sam has moved into the council estate,
and they seem like surprised that she's there. It's like you're like a nice looking white lady.
Yeah, you shouldn't be. Yeah, we didn't know you lived. Like they wouldn't have robbed her if they knew she lived there, which is a foreign concept to a lot of people, but people that grow up in those areas know that like you don't talk to the cops and you don't rob each other.
Yeah, don't fuck with your own.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so like, she's moved into this area. We also have the other white characters are Nick Frost, who works for the main drug dealer, High Hats. Who it seems like he probably came up in the estate. Yeah. And then we got Brewis, who is like upper middle or upper class college kid. He gets paid an allowance. He lives with his parents rent free.
I heard where the director said that he kind of wrote him in.
Yeah,
same way J.K. Rowling did Hermione, where it's like I just wrote myself into this as what I was like in my 20s or whatever.
Yeah, so this is just stoner Joe Cornish in his 20s.
Yeah, college kid.
Yeah. So the white people that are involved are invaders.
Mm-hmm.
What they're bringing is a larger police presence.
Right. Yeah.
When the police come, as they say, they arrest them. They arrest the poor kids. They arrest these kids that, they do shit, but they don't do everything. They get arrested for everything that happens.
Yeah.
And so the monsters get specifically equated by, what's the white kid's name?
Pest?
Pest, yeah. They get specifically related with the monsters. Police and monsters go hand in hand. So in this case, the monsters represent the encroaching gentrification and the moving in of the police. They are driving these people out of the council estates, the only place that they can afford to live.
Yeah.
Like, and imprisoning these people for doing what they did before everyone else came. And no one was getting arrested. Like now people are getting arrested because these supposedly good people are moving in. The people who are from middle class homes are moving in and taking over the council estate. And now everybody's getting arrested for doing the same shit they did.
Because the cops are trying to protect them.
Yes, exactly.
Right, gotcha.
So I think the fact that they made the monsters, they gave them no identity, like no eyes, no features really, except for this consuming mouth.
Right. Yeah.
They're representative of the authority. They're also representative of the the companies that are coming in and buying up these buildings to try to renovate, to gentrify, like
faceless and anonymous.
They're faceless and anonymous, and they have no features to speak of. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool way to look at it. And I guess Cornish said that everything in the movie was very intentional. Everything was very deliberate.
He was going for these social messages. So, like, and I'll talk more about some of the other major messages of this movie, but he was going for these things. He was trying to say these things because he says all good sci-fi and horror in the past has done it.
Yeah.
You look at Night of the Living Dead,
has
a very strong sort of message, as does Dawn of the Dead, etc. Like, all good horror has a message about social issues and things, and his particular message here is we're fucking up. Basically, we're causing problems.
That's pretty dope.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this is told through mainly through our gang of kids, our gang of hoodies.
Yes.
In this flick. And I'll be completely honest with you, like whenever the movie started, like usually whenever we do this show and I'm watching a movie for the first time, so we're going to be talking about it, like at the bottom of my notes I'll make a list of like the character names. Yeah, because I'm very fucking horrible with character names, as anybody that listens to the show knows. But whenever this movie started and it was like, okay, there's Moses, played by John Boyega, I was like, okay, I know he's going to be important. Sam, I know she's going to be important. But then there was kind of the rest of Moses' gang. And like on the subtitles, it was popping up with all their names. There was, Pest and Dennis and all these other names.
Jerome and Biggs.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm not even going to write their names down. I'm like, these are clearly just trivial characters that are going to be not fleshed out, killed immediately. I had all these expectations for what was going to happen to that gang of kids, and I was like, it doesn't even matter. Don't even write their names down. And one of the ways that this movie really blew away my expectations is
it does matter.
Yeah, it really does.
Each character gets we empathize with, like they get their moment where it's like, oh, I get this kid.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And they all have a unique personality and stuff too. Like they're not just all whatever fucking mean random thug kid.
Yeah.
You know, they all have personality to them, which I really love.
Joe Cornish, he wrote a 10-page treatment of what he wanted to do. And then he went to Council Estates to like after school programs and stuff. And sat down and talked with the kids, told them
like actual real life kids.
Yeah. And then told them like the story and said like started asking them questions like, okay, so how would you deal with these aliens? And like
that's cool.
How would you kill an alien and stuff? So like all of the kills and stuff are just different ideas he got from these kids, which really play like when you think about it, it's like they use fireworks and they use like an ice skate and stuff like all the creativity that is a child's creativity,
which in America if you ask those questions be like, well, I'd shoot it with a gun.
I'd shoot it with a gun.
Which
what particular gun?
Exactly.
That's where we get creative.
A shotgun, a handgun. But in Britain, that's much more tightly controlled and stuff. So you do get those solutions that are a lot more creative. Let's say.
And another thing that adds to this is that the actors in this, they're not putting on voices, and in a lot of ways, they're playing themselves. Like when you see interviews of them, like this is them. Like
that's what I wondered about, and we recently had a British listener chime in on our Facebook page.
Kev,
talking about how he's like, these are actually kind of underplayed compared to how a lot of people talk out there. Which to me is insane. Because I was so glad that I had the subtitle option for this. I have, and again, I have a really hard time sometimes understanding really thick dialects. It's just like it doesn't compute in my brain.
I don't have that trouble. Luckily.
Well, you lived in LA for fucking years. That helps.
And
it
does.
You fucking lived in Russia and you speak multiple languages. So that probably helps too.
I think the more you're exposed to it, the more you just see like connections. But like I think a lot of what's really interesting to me about the British accents that get weird is how similar they sound to Southern accents. At times,
which is one of those
like
things.
The way things are said are like. Why do we say it like that too?
And I've always heard that like proper, regular Southern speak actually really resembles Queen's English and stuff like that.
I've read up on that, and that turns out to not be true. It's even more interesting is that it's an anomaly that we do sound similar.
Like, that's weird.
That it's not stemming from. In a lot of ways, it's probably stemming from similar economic conditions. And similar treatment. Well, like kids growing up on the council estate are automatically considered dumber, just like any Southerner.
Well, and if you think about it too, so many people from here in the South hail from Scotch-Irish heritage.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's got to be at least a little lineage or connective tissue there as well. You know, the accents in this movie, dude. I swear, man, it's like anytime that I see a gang of young street toughs or anything like that in a movie, I just want them to talk like these kids do. Because I found it so appealing and so charming. And I don't know, man, maybe if you live over there, it's
you'd
completely
be like, oh,
different.
that's annoying. Or
exactly. Maybe it would be similar to hearing like, dude, the way that like...
just imagine this as a group of Southern kids. Speaking the way we know Southerners speak.
I whoop your damn ass.
Like it would... I'm honestly be similar.
Probably.
You could do Attack the Block as a Southern movie.
Oh my God, dude, do Attack the Park where it's about a trailer park?
Yeah, the trailer park.
Oh.
Fuck, that would be awesome.
I'm way on board with that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Attack the Park.
And at the end of the movie, just go ahead. Trademark down, lovely. Mm-hmm. At the end of the movie, instead of him like blown up with propane, he blows up his fucking his stepdad's meth lab. It's all right there, dude.
Great,
it is right fucking there. Damn. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah, I'm with it. Attack the Park.
But yeah, the kids' accents and stuff, and all the British South London slang, and all the in it and bruv and fam. And again, it's one of those things that I read some reviews and stuff about this movie last night on like IMDb, and a lot of the negative reviews were from people that are like, yeah, I live around here. I hear enough of this shit on the daily basis. Like, it seems like over there, it's like, well, I don't know. What can I say about how things seem over there by reading IMDb reviews? You know what I mean?
It is true to say that class distinctions are still more firm in England than they are here.
Okay.
Like, I can sit down with a millionaire in America and have a conversation, and despite the fact that he'll be thinking about how I have very little money and he could crush me at any moment, we could still have a conversation and he won't be like, I'm surprised that you speak in this manner.
Yeah.
Whereas in England, it's like, oh, you talk that way, that means you have less money and you came up, your family has had less money for generations, so you're less than me.
Right. Yeah, so it seems like, again, I can only speak as somebody from fucking East Tennessee over here in the States, but I find all of the slang and stuff to be an integral part of the movie, and I found it really fun and really charming. And I like that they didn't try to, like, neuter it down.
Yeah, no, it's just... You get used to it.
Yeah.
Like, you're the one encroaching. I mean, again, that's about the encroachment, about the moving, the gentrification is.
Yeah.
You're the one moving into here. You get used to it.
Yeah. That fits in very well, actually, when you look at it under that narrative, for sure. But, it's little stuff like how instead of them saying, like, call me, it's bell me. And you're like, bell me? And at first I was like Alexander Graham Bell, and I'm like, oh, like ring, like a bell, ring me on the phone. It's
Hi-Hats says to Moses, I was gonna make you, now I'm gonna dead you.
I'm gonna dead
you.
Fucking awesome.
That's insane. I love the creativity with speech there. I can see why somebody would be like, yeah, that's wrong. Sure, it's wrong, but it's more creative than just saying I'm gonna kill you.
Well, the thing is like, it doesn't go completely over the fucking cliff into like Cockney rhyme slang and stuff like that. Like,
they're not like, let's take the apples and pears.
What? He's in a Bonnie, isn't he? It's like, dude, actually, before we came up with the idea of doing the list of like underrated movies, I was actually going to my original idea was I was gonna find a list of like top 10 like Cockney rhyme slang phrases, and I was gonna quiz you on them to see if you could figure out what any of them meant. But after reading through like 5 of them, I was like, this is impossible. There's no way that anybody would know what any of this shit means. Like one that I read is like, okay, baked bean. What do you think that means? Baked bean.
Brain?
Queen. The queen.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, all right. Old birdie?
It's like that stuff is just beyond making any sense to us over here. Way beyond.
Jason Statham. Have you ever seen the Crank movies?
The what?
Crank.
I've seen the first one. It was ridiculous,
so awesome.
Dude. It was so silly.
He does some Cockney rhyming slang in that.
Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah. That's right.
It's just like, I don't know what's going on here.
No, But I was glad that I had the subtitles and stuff. And again, I was glad that they didn't dumb it down.
Yeah. I'm glad they just went for it. And it's obvious that like they're talking in a way that's sort of more natural for them. And like the kids are... Like, even though we, from the beginning, are shown that they're doing bad shit, they're still charming and you still kind of are interested in them.
Yeah.
Like, as they're walking around after they kill the alien and they're just talking, it's like, yeah, this is just how I was as a kid. Like,
yeah, sure.
I mean, I didn't rob anybody with a flick blade.
With a flick blade, which I was so glad they said in this movie. I'm so glad about that.
But yeah, I mean, they're just kids. That's something that I love that the movie slowly reveal. Like, it's obvious that they're just kids, but like the movie sort of slowly reveals that to everyone. Like when Sam goes into Moses' apartment,
does it like the very end? Yeah.
She is looking around and she sees like a Spider-Man blanket and stuff, and she's like, "Do you have a little brother?" And he's like, "No." And she's like, "How old are you?"
Yeah.
Like,
it's like, where is anybody else that lives here? And he's like, I live with my uncle, but he's gone most of the time.
And he's 15, and
And you can tell then she's like, shit, this is a fucking kid.
And I think this is a real important moment, where like, I think she realizes how foreign this whole world is to her and how different all of this is to her.
Yeah. And it's not that she's just like, I completely understand them trying to mug me at knife point.
No, she's not understanding of that, but she's understanding that, like, oh, I'm in a new world here. Like, this is an alien world where I'm the one who needs to learn what's going on.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's real important, though, that she thinks he's older, because that is exactly something that you'll find every time that police kill a black man who turns out to be a teenage boy.
Oh, no shit, right?
Is that they'll say he looked older than 16, or
Damn.
he looked older than, in Tamir Rice's case, 12.
Oh, shit.
The phone call for Tamir Rice identified him as a black man. He's a 12-year-old boy.
Holy shit.
So, like, there's a lot that I think she is learning. Like, we get Moses' arc. Moses' arc is, I was gonna be all about this life of crime. I realized that I could be more than that.
Yeah.
Her arc is basically, I'm a poor young nurse. This is the only place I can afford to live. It's fine if I just move in here, to, oh, I've moved into a completely different world that I don't completely understand. Oh, they're all right. I should vouch for them. Like, is what she does at the end. Is like, she doesn't say, no, they didn't mug me, but she says, they helped me. They're my neighbors.
Right.
So, like, she's changed by all that she sees throughout the movie.
Yeah.
But the rest, I mean, we talked about this before. Only one white person dies in this movie. And that's weird.
It kind of seems that way.
Yeah.
Kind of seems that way.
It's important when you think about what I said about the monsters being representative of the police and authority figures.
Right.
That it's unlikely that a white person's going to die. The one white person who does die is in a gang.
Right.
The other white people, you know, they escape with very little issue. She goes through way more, but, like, you know, Nick Frost and Brewis and what's his name?
Oh, Pest.
Pest. Yeah, they, like, Pest, he escapes most all the problems. He does get bitten by an alien in the leg. But, like, the other two, Jerome and Dennis, get killed. We get to see two teenage boys get killed. That's always fun.
Brutal, dude.
Brutally, yeah. Like, the white people sort of get away unscathed, and then at the end, as the three white guys are being arrested, like, they're being brought out by the police, and they're, like, struggling and yelling and talking shit to the police. And then you see Moses get brought out, and he's, like, eyes down, not saying a word, just walking in pace with them.
Very calm, yeah.
Because if he does that, they beat him.
Right, yeah.
They can get away with that. From the poorest to even one of them involved in the gang himself.
Yeah.
They can get away with talking shit and like, you know, struggling, resisting.
Right.
But he can't. Like, nothing has changed for him.
Wow.
The thing that does change is the mind of the person he robbed earlier.
Right.
And everybody's, you know, chanting Moses at the end, but he's still getting arrested for all of this that isn't his responsibility.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the thing about this movie and the way that it kind of wraps up and stuff, and especially with, like you said there at the end, with her going into his apartment and kind of having this, like, oh shit, like, you're a kid and you live on your own.
Yeah.
It's very different, and again, very, very much set against that Steven Spielberg kind of thing, where if this was a Spielberg movie, everybody would become best friends and love each other and give up their bad ways and become good people. And
when they robbed her, they would have been more charming about it. Like, it wouldn't have been like, there wouldn't have been a moment in the beginning where we actually disliked the kids.
Right. Yeah. But, you know, in this movie, and again, like, after reading some reviews and stuff last night, it seems like a lot of people are just kind of like, what the fuck is the point of this movie? It's about shitty awful kids that try to rob somebody, and there's no, resolution for it or anything like that. But it's like, I think the thing about it is it's just like, take a step back.
Yeah.
And just empathize with people for just a second.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be their best friends.
Right.
It's like these people that mugged her. She's not even like at the very end of the movie where they're like, can you identify these people? She's not like, yeah, they're my best friends.
No.
And they let them loose.
Yeah.
That's what would happen in, again, a Spielberg movie.
Yeah, and everybody would be like, yeah, woo.
Yeah, exactly. Spring break.
Yep.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just like in this movie, it just seems like the whole message is just like, you know what? You don't even have to get along. You don't even have to be best friends.
Just empathize.
Just fucking take a step back and just look at where these people are coming from and just try to understand for just 1 second.
That is an issue every single time that a black person gets shot by police.
Yeah.
Is that people will bring up like, well, he was doing this or whatever. Like, Rodney King when he got beat. Well, he was a crackhead.
Right.
Where in our law is being a crackhead punishable by a beating?
Yeah, being
where
beaten,
in our law is, the most insane thing, walking home to your house and a man who is not a policeman tries to stop you and then you get in a fight with him and he shoots you. Where is any of that, like, justified? Like, I see people justify the Trayvon Martin thing because they're like, well, he was tall and like, well, like he didn't stop when the guy told him to stop. It's like, he's just some dude.
Yeah.
If you're walking home and somebody's like, hey, where are you going? Stop. Like, what? Fuck you.
Yeah. Does it go through your mind like, I better or else I might die?
Or I might die.
Yeah. Like, that's nowhere written into the code of law.
Yeah. And so it seems like that's Joe Cornish's like idea there is that people need to step back and stop coming up with excuses for why a policeman shot an innocent black man or even a black man in the process of committing a crime that doesn't warrant the death penalty. Not punishable by
death. Exactly, yeah.
Like, have some empathy. Think, if you were in that situation, not the police, like, that's what every white person thinks. They always think, well, if I was in that situation, I'd be scared like that police officer too. Mm-hmm. They never think of themselves in the other position.
Right, yeah.
They never think, like, what if I was
just walking home?
What if I was doing nothing and the police told me to, like, put my hands up, and as I said, what? They shot me.
Yeah. What do you fucking do then?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And then the rest of, your memory is people being like, yeah, I can see why they shot him. Instead of like, why, like, I can imagine myself in his place. Boy, it would suck to get shot.
No doubt. Yeah. No doubt, man. It's fucked up. Well, because this is a horror movie, of course, we cannot not talk about some of the special effects and gore and kills.
Yeah.
This movie isn't necessarily a just a splatterhouse gore fest or anything like that.
But there's some stuff.
There's some good stuff in there, man. Whenever Hi-Hats gets killed and like his face gets ripped off.
Like they bite his nose off. Yeah.
Oh, that looked brutal. Great. It's fucking cool. I even like when Pest gets his leg bitten off.
Yeah,
like
that looks
chunk
great.
Of it flies out. That's really cool.
We don't see what happens in the elevator with Hi-Hats and his men and the alien, but we see the aftermath, and it's brutal.
Yeah, dude.
Looks
There's
great.
Just blood and gore just everywhere. Yeah, the gore and stuff in this is, it honestly kind of reminded me of something that you'd see in, Shaun of the Dead or something like that, where it's not
over the top.
Or honestly, more like Hot Fuzz. I'll say more like Hot Fuzz, where it's like, it's not super expected, but when it happens and it's grisly, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. And it's brief too. Yeah. Like Jerome Dennis was wearing his motorcycle helmet, his head gets ripped off. And we just see the head and helmet fly. But they don't zoom in on blood. We don't see like blood dripping out of the severed head. We just see that happen.
Very effective.
It is brutal, but it's so brief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very well done. And like we said, as many of the practical special effects and stuff in here as there are, I can't really complain anything about those aspects of the flick, you know? And also, it's got a dope-ass soundtrack, too.
By Basement Jaxx.
Basement Jaxx, dude, who I've been listening to for fucking ever. I didn't know they did the soundtrack to this.
Yeah. It's also by Stephen Price, who did music for Gravity and won an Academy Award. Also, for a little movie called Baby Driver. Which, and as I understand, the music is a pretty big deal on that.
You haven't seen Baby Driver yet? Fuck,
dude. Need to see it.
It is awesome, man. And it kind of has some similar stuff to this. Like, it's kind of got some of that British hip-hop stuff that has kind of a little bit of a reggae kind of influence. Again, I'm an idiot. I don't know what you call that specific subgenre of British hip-hop that has that kind of reggae kind of thing going for it, but
I think it's called Right Near the Beach.
Lord have mercy.
Bet, bruv.
I think that is what it's called, if I'm not mistaken.
Bet, bruv.
Love the soundtrack to this flick a lot, too.
Yeah.
I also love the two fucking little kids in this, dude.
You talking about Mayhem and Probs?
Dude, those two kids are the shit. Yeah. I love their whole, like, little side story that's not really all that important, but just kind of runs through the movie.
It is. We actually get to see the pipeline, that we get to see the future of these boys if they continue the way they go. So we see the little kids, we see Mayhem and Probs. That's who they used to be. Now they're this. We see Hi-Hats. That's who Moses is bound to become.
Okay.
If he doesn't make a change.
All right. I'm seeing this. You're kind of seeing that in the 3 age ranges. Yeah.
And what you see is how close they are in age, because those kids are 12.
Yeah.
They say.
And Moses is 15.
Yeah. So
and
we just
Hi-Hats is maybe
assume
20
probably
something.
like 20. Yeah. So like that, and I like he's a heroin and weed dealer. Hi-Hat. So his life is, he's not got much ahead of him.
Yeah.
And so that's like we're being shown what they've gone through and where they're destined to go.
That's cool.
If something doesn't change.
I hadn't thought about those 3 different kind of age ranges that are represented right there, but they are pretty clear.
Yeah.
When you look at it that way.
But yeah, Mayhem and Probs, real fun. Super fucking soaker full of lighter fluid.
Dude. So awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome. And I love that they're just like, man, they're running around and they're cussing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got that Bad News Bears quality to it, where like Steven Spielberg kind of would have like maybe a cuss word from, one of the Goonies or something, like a shit or something.
Yeah.
But this goes more Bad News Bears, just like going at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the humor in the movie?
Okay, so there's a good bit of just levity to it.
I would say that. It's not so much humor as levity.
Yeah, where like, because like what I'm thinking of is like basically they're 2 horror movies going on here. The one where Moses is the protagonist and the one where Sam is the protagonist. And in the one where Sam is the protagonist, she is going back to her apartment and sees the guys who mugged her and then killed 2 police officers, as far as she understands, as she's trying to open her door.
Yeah.
And that moment, because we're following Moses, is kind of like a little comical, where we know that there's no threat. But if we're seeing it from her perspective, it's an absolute threat. And then they come into her house and like take over. But then
she threatens to El Kabong them.
She threatens to El Kabong them. But then as she's helping, I keep forgetting that fucking kid. Pest. God damn it. As she's helping Pest, like they're all basically ragging on her.
Yeah.
Like it's this moment where if somebody was doing this to you, you'd be like, there's nothing funny about this. You robbed me, you barged into my house, and now you're making fun of me. Like,
when you're forcing me to save one of your lives.
Yeah. But if you're watching it from our perspective, from the, Moses is the protagonist, it's funny because she's like, they ask when she moved here, and she's like, oh, a couple months ago. She's like, thinking of moving. They're like, why?
Yeah.
Like, the humor there is they don't get how horrific this is for her.
Right, yeah, they can't
it's just like normal to them.
Why?
I mean, Pest even says at one point where they're talking about the monsters chasing them, and he's like, being worried about being attacked while walking through the estate, that's a normal day for me. Like,
right, yeah.
To them, like, getting robbed, it would have just been like, man, I can't believe you're doing this to me. And they'd hand the money over, and they might see that guy again some other day.
Right.
And it wouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
But for her, like, this is a hugely traumatic experience.
Right.
And so, like, the incongruity, it makes that scene really funny to me.
I love that, like, as the movie goes on too, that like Pest seems to be like coming on to Sam more and more.
Yeah, he keeps trying, and
he's like, "You're fit."
Yeah, and it's like, dude, you're like 13.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, "You got a boyfriend."
I mean, I get it. She is absolutely adorable.
She's
Jodie
adorable.
Whittaker is
She's awesome,
adorable.
man. And she's like, "Yes, I have a boyfriend." He's like, "We don't seem to care about you very much." I love it, dude.
That line is an important one too, because she says that he's in Ghana, volunteering, helping kids, and Pest points out like why can't he help British children?
Right? Yeah,
not
I like
exotic
that.
enough. Can't get a suntan.
Right. I like that. That's
like,
good too.
And
it's
that's
funny,
a
but
really
you're like,
strong
well,
point. Like, it's like these kids live in this, and you're going off to another country to help kids that live in similar situations. But you just go down the street and help these kids.
Yeah, there's people here that you've helped.
But it's not exotic. It's not. I went to Ghana. It's,
right.
Which
again goes to that
South London,
that gentrification kind of idea too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely so.
Mm-hmm.
The pacing of the movie is fucking great.
It's amazing.
I never got bored once. It's it's a relatively short movie, about hour 28.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Because it packs in so much.
Yeah,
in that hour and 28. Yeah,
it passed the phone test, dude.
Yeah,
it was one of those ones where it's like I didn't fucking pick up my phone during the movie.
Yeah, because you got to know what's happening.
Yeah, I was engrossed the entire time. It also looks great.
Yes, it does.
It is a gorgeous movie, man. It's like a lot of it is just lit by, street lights and stuff like that. I guess all the external shots were actually shot on actual locations, and I believe the internal shots were all done on sets.
Yeah.
But they're very convincing.
Yes, they are.
Very seamless, the transition from outdoor to indoor locations and stuff here. But yeah, man, it's like it never got to like, let's say like mega stylized J.J. Abrams lens flare fetish.
No, it didn't.
But it does have like a very saturated, very hot, very cold kind of lighting kind of thing. It looks really good.
I like what they do with the hallway lighting, how it has those sort of efficiency lights that you hit the thing and it turns the lights on for you, but then they go back out after a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then also when they have the hallway scene where because like the decision to use fireworks is genius.
It's awesome.
It looks great.
And it's also stuff that kids would have on hand.
Exactly, yeah. And so that hallway scene where they've shot like a bunch of fireworks and it's just completely like smoke and then the lights start like going out.
It's cool.
That's genius.
It's
looks
way
great.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all that smoke and stuff just looks so cool. Like whenever they do the slow-mo shots, like one of the last shots in the flick whenever Moses is like leading all the aliens towards the apartment to blow them up, and there's that kind of chase scene that's in like slow-mo after Pest shoots the fireworks at him and stuff. It just looks great.
It does.
And again, smart, because one of the best ways, kind of like we talked about with Jurassic Park and stuff, like best ways to hide CGI and stuff like that, hide it behind an environmental effect.
Yeah.
Darkness, rain, smoke, fog, all the best ways to hide stuff and make it look more real.
Yeah.
So those decisions were like cool and believable, and also just benefited the aesthetic of the movie. It's just really fucking smart, and also probably made it cheaper.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. If you can hide, you don't have to worry about, well, what if a zipper is showing or something?
Yeah.
Well, the smoke will cover it.
Yeah, exactly. Or the pitch black of the monsters and stuff. I don't know, dude. It's one of those things that whenever I watched it, I was like, man, I have basically nothing to complain about this movie. It's like, I love the look. I love the soundtrack. I love the characters. I love the kind of moral ambiguity that you get to with this thing. I love the creature design. I loved how simple the storyline was. It never tried to get too overly convoluted.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like there was anything that could be trimmed. It didn't feel like there was anything that needed to be added either.
No.
There's no love story in this.
Yeah. And I like where Bruce and Sam meet, and it's obvious that Bruce is like, "Oh, cute girl," and starts talking to her, and she's just like,
doesn't give a fuck.
Going on. Yeah,
like, exactly.
Obviously, this is not the time for a love connection.
I love that Bruce.
Yeah.
Also, too, like one of those things that I see in movies all the time is like somebody will be like super stoned, and then something happens, and suddenly they're like, "Oh, I'm shocked back into fucking being sober."
Not the case in this.
No, the whole movie he's just like, stoned. "I am unbelievably stoned" the whole time. I love that they kept that in there. That was really fun.
Yeah,
I have so little to complain about. And then I read. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say that, like, specifically at the end, the 3 white guys that are left are all stoned and useless.
That's true.
Like, and we get past the idea of like Moses being the hero when Moses, like, they're in Tia's apartment, and the 2 aliens come in. They're after Moses, and then Moses doesn't kill either one of them. Sam kills one of them with a knife, and then the other 2 girls like beat and shock the other one to death, and then like stab it with an ice skate.
Yeah, like, hardcore, dude.
Yeah, so like, we're given this hero, but we actually get to like open it up to like there are a bunch of heroes in this story. And then there are a bunch of people that just sort of sit around on the sidelines. Yeah. And it just so happens that the ones that sit on the sidelines and don't do anything are all white males. And the ones that get involved are the women and the black kid. Like, they're the ones that really do something.
Right.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, too, I think that Moses really sees this turn that, like, my actions have consequences.
Yeah. He does. He does seem to change.
Yeah. I mean, he says... There's a couple lines in there where he pretty much explicitly says that, and it's like, because you killed this thing, you're covered in its pheromones or whatever, and now these other things are out to kill you. Yeah, like your actions have consequences.
Yeah, those exact words are said by Tia.
Yeah,
actions have consequences.
Right. And I think that that's kind of a moral point of this story that I think is overlooked because, like I said, whenever I started reading reviews, I mean, it's like there's a lot of people that love it like we do. Yeah. And then there's a lot of people that are just like, this movie sucks. It glorifies gang culture. It glorifies...
How? I mean, how?
It glorifies... Of course, people
said that about like Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood. And I don't know if you've seen either of those movies, but I don't see any glory in gang culture in those movies. I don't think this movie shows anything glorious about it.
Right.
It shows it as a sad thing that we should empathize with, that we should see happening and be like, I wish we could do something about that.
Right.
Let's do something about that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I don't know, man. It just seemed like a lot of the complaints on this just flew over my head. People are like, the monster design was stupid. And it's like,
whatever.
I mean, again, it's all opinions, obviously.
Opinion. But if you think it's stupid, you do. But I don't see how you could.
I don't think this movie would have been cooler if it was fucking xenomorphs attacking this city. Like, I love that it was so original that it was just like, what if it was just black with teeth?
Yeah.
That's actually simple enough. Like, that's the stuff of nightmares. Like,
absolutely.
That's the stuff that when you wake up from a bad dream, you're like, I don't know what was happening, but I was being killed by something that was dark and it had pointy teeth. Yeah. That's actually enough to be scary and effective, you know?
That is what's real good about horror when you strip it down to its barest points.
Primal level, right?
Yeah. Try to get, like, the more ornate, the more interesting and aesthetic it is, but the less horrific it is.
Well, because there's less room for imagination.
Your brain can't come up with, like, if you sit down with a piece of paper, you could come up with this ornate and very, like, intricate fear or terror.
Yeah.
But when your brain is just thinking, when you're having nightmares or when you're in a dark room and you're wondering what could be in there, it's simple stuff.
Anything your brain has to fill in the gaps on will be scarier than anything you can see on screen. Mm-hmm. Like, that's just a fact.
Yep.
You know? And I think that the design and stuff, this just does it very well. I don't know. Do you have any complaints about this movie?
I really don't. Like,
I don't really
think
either, man.
The acting is so wonderfully natural.
Yeah.
The kids seem to be just being themselves, heightened and playing this sort of gangster role.
Yeah.
Good, fun humor with, the gang with Nick Frost.
Kids.
Yeah, like that
Nothing's
moment,
forced.
No, that moment where Nick Frost and Brewis are talking, and Brewis is like, I got busted. And he's like, oh, you got busted? Like, you got arrested.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, my dad smelled weed on my clothes.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's
he's going to take away my
allowance.
My allowance.
Yeah.
And Nick Frost is just like, oh.
That's white people problems,
tough.
dude.
Yeah. Real rough.
Yeah. I forgot about that. That is funny. Brewis is such a little shit in this. It's awesome.
There's nothing about this, though, that I find needs to change.
No.
I think it's just a wonderfully perfect sci-fi horror action comedy.
Yeah, I do too, man.
You don't get a lot of them.
No,
so
you don't.
Might as well watch this one.
Yeah. If you're going to come to like a rating with this thing, where are you putting this thing on that scale of 1 to 10?
Man, that's hard, because I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
So it's a 10. Like, this is a 10.
You're throwing this a dime. You're diming it.
I think so, because, like, seriously, like, I think about other movies that have given a 10, and aside from Home Alone, which was just good-natured cheer.
Yeah.
It's been the movies where I can't see anything wrong with it.
And you'll just watch it and love it every time.
Like,
for a long time.
And I've seen this several times, and every time it's like, this is a great movie. Like, it's fun. I like watching.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself watching it many more times.
Yeah.
I mean, I just watched it for the first and only time last night, but it's one of those that I'm like, oh, I'll definitely buy this and just put it on.
Yeah.
And watch it many more times.
And I think it's interesting too. Like, this is one you could watch with, like, if you had kids that were like tweens, teens, they'd probably really get into it.
You could watch it with non-horror fans for sure.
Oh yeah, this is definitely one that non-horror fans would love, because it's got enough action, and the scares are just sort of like,
there's some jump scares. There's some sudden when
they're suddenly at the window. Two of them are suddenly at the window, or at the peephole. Yeah. But yeah, it's not one that people who don't like horror movies are going to be terrified by. They're not going to go home
Hereditary,
and be having, exactly.
Yeah. It's not traumatizing.
Mm-hmm. I just think this is a wonderful movie that really needs more attention.
I completely agree. Yeah, I can't complain about any of it, man.
What you gonna give it, man?
I think I'm gonna toss this a solid. I'm gonna say a 9.
9.
I'm not gonna go 10. I mean, 10 is just such the lofty heights of Olympus for me.
I know. I mean, that's like I'm saying it's on the level of The Shining.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Like, I feel like
it makes me happy to watch it.
I
was
really
so happy.
does.
Last night, I'll put it this way, man. It's like, after the week that I've had dealing with the funeral and all this stuff, and after then like being sick and just like basically living in a bed for like 3 or 4 days and all this stuff, honestly, like last night whenever I sat down to watch the movie, I was kind of like, well, shit, like back to work.
Yeah.
I was kind of looking at it as like, I'm not really in the mood to like focus.
Yeah. And try to understand
analyze.
This movie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I would really like to just veg out and just watch YouTube videos or just do something mindless and just have fun for a second, because I've not had fun all week. But it's like, as soon as this movie started, I was just like, holy shit, this is fucking great.
Yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, it's like it snapped me right out of work mode, and I was like, oh yeah, this is why I really enjoy doing podcasts and stuff, because this is really fun to watch.
Yeah. Here's how I'll justify my 10 completely is
justify your 10.
Do. You go to like a real nice restaurant that has a burger. Okay. That burger, I'm telling you, that meat is going to be top quality beef.
All right.
They're going to cook it for you how you like
Just
it.
Just how I want. About a medium for me.
They're going to put some fancy cheese on it.
Oh, I like that.
Man, those fresh vegetables. Some sort of aioli that they make in the back.
Yeah, just a little on the side for me.
And it's going to be a goddamn great burger.
Oh, I love it.
And also, you can go to In-N-Out and get a double-double and it's going to be as satisfying.
Could I make it a 5 Guys with a side of Cajun fries instead?
Perfect.
Okay.
What I'm saying, exactly my point is you could pay for a $40 burger and get a goddamn great burger. You can also pay for a $3 burger and get a goddamn great burger.
And be like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. This is the $3 burger that it's like, why do I need the $40 burger?
Yeah.
But then you have that $40 burger and you're like, oh yeah, the Shining is awesome.
Great. Yeah.
But like, it has everything you need in it.
I gotcha. That completely makes sense.
Nothing wrong with it.
No, not at all, man. I strongly recommend it, dude. It is a blast to watch. I hope that everybody that watches it enjoys it as much as we did.
Yeah.
Here on Dead and Lovely. Now, what are we going to be talking about on the show next week, Hollywood Steve?
Well, Ben, I just came into my lady times, so I'm going to watch a little informative video called Carrie.
Plug it up, man. Plug it up.
I think what you're supposed to do when you have your lady times is kill everybody.
We're all going to laugh at you. No. We're talking the OG, not the remake.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Don't need to.
I like Chloe Moretz.
I do too. Yeah, she's great, but no real need to. Not better than the OG.
Yeah.
Which is what we're going to be talking about on the show next time. So you guys be sure to tune in, rate, and review on iTunes. As I mentioned earlier, helps us out a ton. If you even care just a little bit. If you even care just a scotch. Just give us just a minute of your time to go and write even just a 1-sentence review on iTunes.
I'll write the review for you. You just go ahead and type exactly what I'm saying right now.
Copy pasta. Just voice to text right now.
Good podcast. Me like.
5 stars.
5 stars.
Yeah. Submit.
Now, if you want to gild the lily and say I like, so it sounds like something someone would actually say, go for it.
That's fine too, yeah.
Me like is better though.
Yeah.
It lets them know.
I don't advise doing like they like or like she like or he like.
That's weird.
That's a little ambiguous.
Yeah.
They like.
Does anyone refer to themselves as they?
Venom.
Let us know.
Venom does.
Venom does.
Eddie Brock. We like. The symbiote we. Yeah.
I am several people.
I am Legion. Steve, where can they follow us on the social medias in the meantime?
At Dead Lovely Pod on the Instagrams and the Twitters.
Yeah.
deadandlovelypod@gmail.com is our email address. We have
hit us.
Facebook group, Dead and Lovely Horror Podcast group or whatever.
Yeah.
We got a Discord server.
Check with us.
Check with us. We'll give you the link, the invite. Man, we're all over the place.
We are.
Check us out on Pornhub.
Yeah.
We're the unedited versions on that. So if you've heard our podcast up to this point,
just wait until you check the Pornhub version.
Yeah. There's like a lot of me being like, yeah, you take it.
Yeah, you take that movie.
Yeah.
I give this movie a 69.
You like that?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. The mutual oral sex.
Yeah.
Write
us an email and we'll give you an address to send us beer.
That's true. Yeah. Also,
we like that. We like that very much. You guys stay tuned for more good old horror content coming at you next week. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you all have had a great old time. And as always, you guys have been so fantastic. They've been really fantastic, isn't it?
They've been so good at us.
Oh, bloody good. Bloody hell, I tell you what.
Boy.
Hogwarts.
Hagrid. Tea.
Crumpets. It's crumpets, isn't it?
Wales. What's up with them, huh?
Oi, how about the football team I like?
Go Tottenham.
Go Tottenham. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, I like the real hooligan and bop you on the noggin. I say.
And I'm going to come in here at the end with R.I.P. Brody Stevens.
Oh,
positive energy. Enjoy it.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Too bad, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.